A lot of people think that there are no choice in life. Hundreds and hundreds of our mentees going through this process and building the life and lifestyle around their passion and living 6 Sundays a week. If you don't believe me, why don't you click the link, check out the option. I'm going to share more details with you on how you can go from where you are to building the business around passion in 7 steps. Check out the link and I will see you in the masterclass.
Just from past.
Yeah, the meeting is being live streamed now. See, now, do I need to share the link? That automatic share aitada?
Sir, they can get the link on the top of the meeting.
See, now, do I need to share the link? That automatic share aitada?
సార్ అది యూట్యూబ్ లో ఉన్నది మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టేసేయండి. బ్రౌజర్కి వెళ్ళి అంటే మీరు ప్లే అవుతున్న
Hello, BWW team. How are you guys? I see some of you have taken this opportunity to not be in business dress. And isn't it great? We're so excited to be coming into your living room and sharing some incredible speakers with you. Nick and Stephanie Nwoki, they're going to rock the house. We are Kevin and Beth Bell. We're from Hope Mills, North Carolina. I had a background in aeronautical and aerospace engineering.
And my background was in family practice. It started right here, actually in Durham, North Carolina. I got my training here as a physician assistant. And Kevin and I have been in business now for 30 years next week. 26 of that we've been full-time IBOs. And what we want to share with you tonight is we are so proud to be products and promoters of this BWW system and what they're going to be putting on for you tonight. And we're excited, and we know it's going to be a lot of fun. So here's Kevin.
Yeah, congratulations. And if you would, we're going to put a phone number up on the screen. And if you can, if this is your first ever BBS, go ahead and text that number. And if you have a question as a first timer, please put that in too. Nick and Steph are going to be interacting with you guys throughout the night. So we are on the Covington Miller team, but all of BWW is one big team. And if this is your first BBS, we want to say congratulations to you. For some of you, it's your 300th, and everyone is fantastic. And we're excited to be sharing with you this first time that we're doing things a little bit different. And so I want to say congratulations, because you can always say you were at the first podcast style BBS. So with that, go ahead and high five your neighbor and say, yes, we were there. We were there. So awesome stuff, guys. We're going to start this off just like we do every BBS with a pledge and a prayer. So we're going to go ahead and roll a video.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, guys, if you would just bow your heads, and we're going to just say a quick prayer. Father, Lord, we just come before you, and we just pray that you quiet our hearts and our minds from all the busyness of the day and taking care of all of our responsibilities, Lord, and just help us be very open to hear the wisdom that's shared tonight and to hear what Nick and Stephanie are pouring into each and every one of us. And Lord, we just pray for Nick and Stephanie that you speak through them and just help them share exactly what everybody needs to hear. And we just pray for everybody's safety that is hearing my voice, just a hedge of protection over them with all the craziness of the world. We just thank you for that protection, and we just pray for your blessing to continue to grow around the world in your precious Son's name. Amen. Amen. All right, guys, we are excited to introduce Nick and Steph, and Nick and Stephanie's parents are immigrants. And so they are second generation here in the United States. And they started the business at the young age of 19. It's hard to even imagine. We were 27. So to see the business at 19 is just a phenomenal opportunity. And it's amazing that they embraced it and were as ready as they were. And so at the time, they're from New York City originally, but at the time they were going to college in Philadelphia, both going to great schools. And Stephanie was pre-law and Nick was pre-med. And when they heard about an opportunity to see a business to kind of set themselves up in the future, they jumped at the opportunity to set up a financial legacy. And by age 20, they no longer needed the multiple jobs that they had at the time that was helping to pay for their studies. They no longer needed those jobs and have been able to live off their business income ever since. So for many years now. They're in their early 30s now, and they're just going to share some great stuff with you. And they have a 2.5-year-old son, and Stephanie is pregnant with their second, and we're just so excited for them.
Yeah, I just want to share that Kevin talked about wisdom, and wisdom is not age specific. And what I want to share about Nick and Stephanie, most of us are immigrants, right? Somebody from our family probably came here. And what we've learned in history is that this nation was founded on apprenticeship and entrepreneurship, what we're doing. But there is a tendency to tell the next generation or ask them, what do you want to do with your life, rather than how do you want to live? And Nick and Stephanie figured it out very early on how they wanted to live. And that's what you're going to hear tonight. So at 19 and then 20, they figured out what they wanted to do for the rest of their life, and they're living the amazing life that this system provides us.
Yes, and as they speak throughout the night, again, you're going to see a different, more relaxed format tonight. So please feel free to text into that number your comments and questions, and they're going to be interacting with you throughout the night. So enjoy it. We know we're set up over here with a notebook and pen, and we're ready to go. Let's go ahead. And I was going to say welcome to the stage, but we don't need to do that. Welcome to the podcast room, Nick and Stephanie Nwoke.
That is at Seven Springs. No, that's not at Seven Springs. Boom! What is up, everybody? We are here. I was just taking a look at an amazing photo in the backdrop with Bill Britt and Kumar. That's going to be cycling in the background. But thank you so much, Kevin and Beth, for that amazing introduction. We are Nick and Steph Nwoke, and we're honored to be here at the Britt office for a business building seminar. So welcome to all the first timers. I'm really looking forward to sharing this evening with you. It's 8:36. We're going to be here for, I think it's until about 11 o'clock-ish or so. And we're going to have a couple breaks in between, but nonetheless, I'm really looking forward to spending our evening with you guys. And it is an honor and privilege. Thank you to the Management Operating Committee, the Strategic Operating Committee, the LLC, and all of the BWW Diamonds for setting all this up and giving us the opportunity to spend the night with the BWW family and globally. So we're very, very excited. I know Stephanie, my amazing wife and business partner, is super pumped and super jacked.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a great, just a great opportunity to be here in the Brit office. You guys have heard us say it before. There's nothing like it almost feels like we're walking on I don't want to say holy ground because that's a little bit blasphemous, but it's in a general vicinity. It feels very, very, very special. And I know that for some of you, you only had to travel, from your room to your living room. We took a flight down, but I don't really think it's so much the distance that you travel, but as much as how much you're going to put into this night for yourself. We're going to have a lot of fun. I know that Nick and I have a lot to share with you tonight.
Yeah. But I don't know if 2.5 hours is going to be enough, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
But we just hope that it helps you, because that's the point of everything that we do with Burr Worldwide, even in Amway, all of the leaders. Our goal is to give you tools and to give you stories and to just help you build you and help you build your business. So that's what we're hoping for tonight.
That's definitely what's going to happen tonight, for sure.
We don't really have a very strict outline.
We have something of a general outline agenda, but whatever happens. We'll make it work.
Yeah, I'm excited if you can tell.
So in which case, so just give you a quick background on us. Steph and I, we've been in business since June 2009. That's when we got launched in business, and our uplines, our founders, EDCs, congratulations to you guys on hitting a brand new level. Kunkan and Simina Bhattacharya, upline to them are founders, triple diamonds, IBI members, MLC members, and also Kunkan is as well as an SOC member. But Kumar and Anjali are IBI members, served on IBOI committee multiple times, MLC members, SOC, Living Legends, Founders Triple Diamonds, Shivram and Ajay Kumar. Upline to them are
Double Diamond.
Double Diamonds, Money Paul and Renico Reddy. Upline to them are Founders Executive Diamonds, Maruchetta, Living Legend, and of course, brand new Founders Crown, Kanti and Latagala. Now that's an LOS on another level.
It's special to be in the gala team because for Nick and I, we wake up and we find our upline is always a new pin. I think we didn't know about Kanti and Lata's founder crownship till we logged into Instagram and somebody was congratulating them. And we're like, that's what it's like to be in this LOS. You just never know. You're going to wake up and now you have a new founder's crown upline. So congratulations, Kanti and Lata. We're so proud of you.
We're proud to be
in your LOS.
Yeah, definitely big time. So anyway, background, we got started in business as 19-year-old college students. I went to Haverford. Stephanie went to Swarthmore, both very humble beginnings. We're going to dive deep into that a little bit because that's important in the overall what we're trying to do this evening. But we got started in business. I'm not going to say lost souls, but I was living a life of quiet desperation myself. I want a lot more. I had a 3.7 times grade point average. I was doing pretty well in this liberal arts school, but I just wanted some flexibility, wanted some, I don't want to say like the finer things in life, but I know that I knew what I wanted, and going down the career path that I was going down, I felt like I was going to be settling. Anyway, I did what I needed to do to try to figure out. I went to different. I did different things to make money.
Oh yeah.
I DJ'd. I held house parties. Bought and sold sneakers.
You started your own game server.
Gained my own game servers. Maple Story, for anyone who knows like gaming back in the day. Maple Story, Gunbound, Ragnarok. I had servers on that. I was just hungry. I just needed something more.
You cut hair at one point.
Oh yeah, I cut hair at one point. Or not, that's very debatable. But either way, it was a good time. And whenever somebody tells you, "Hey, listen, I'll give you a haircut for free," just make sure you proceed with caution. Okay, so either way, let's just say that that's what I did. And I used to live I lived in Jersey City, New Jersey, out in the hood and the projects, not the projects, but the hood of Jersey City, New Jersey. Stephanie went back and forth from
so
Patterson
I grew up in the
Bronx.
Bronx. Yeah. My family moved to Patterson for a little bit, but regardless, it was both very similar backgrounds. My mom was a single mom. I'm the oldest, and we're immigrant family. I was the second generation, but first born here.
Yeah.
And very similar to you, school was my biggest focus. I wanted to be a lawyer, but I was always looking for more. So I know you were hustling with like different businesses, but
no, I wanted to make money. Let's just be straight.
You was trying to figure out
money. I know. I'm not going to say money doesn't. Money is not going to solve all problems, but I knew that it was going to solve a lot of problems. I didn't see my parents. I didn't see my a lot of stuff. So I just needed money. So I was money hungry, and I would have made some good income, becoming a physician scientist, doing clinical research, but I just didn't like the overall lifestyle. And fast forward a little bit, boom, boom, boom. Stephanie saw the presentation. She got excited, invited me. I reluctantly showed up, and I got started in business. June 2009, we ended up going silver and started platinum qualification in 2010. 2011, we went platinum. 2012, went Q12 and sapphire. By the time, when we started platinum qualification, that's when I decided to pretty much go all in, building the Amway business. It's very optional. It's not something that was taught on me or was pushed on me. It's just like, dude, I'm not going to be taking out $20,000 a year to go to school. At that moment, my heart wasn't really in it. I was going through the motions. I just felt like I was withering my life away. It's funny, I was 19 years old. What do you know about withering your life away? But anyway, point is, that's how I felt about it. I dipped. All my professors, my mentors at the time were like bugging out. What are you doing? I just said, I know where my heart's at. I told my mom, hey, listen, I'm going to take a break, a semester break. We all know what that means. And I went full-time.
But you showed your mom some finance.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a different topic altogether, but it wasn't like you were not making significant income before you decided to do that.
Point is, I pulled out $10.99 from what I was making from Amway, and I was pulling out loans I'd have to take, and I say, what would you do? What do you recommend me to do? And she said, okay, build that thing legit.
Exactly, yeah.
So anyway, 2012 went sapphire and Q12. 2013 went emerald. 2014 went founders emerald. That's when things really started changing in our lives.
Yeah.
2014 we went founders emerald. Started making some great income. Made enough income to take care of myself, as well as Stephanie. That was an exciting time. Mm-hmm. Then told my mom she didn't need to work anymore, and it was a great, we call it a quote unquote, we'll call it a financial flexibility party. I don't know the type of stage. I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but point is that we felt like she was going to get overall freedom from what she felt.
She was able to walk away from her career.
Yeah, she felt like she
Early,
was
yeah.
getting, she was in bondage and had some whatever. Point is that she dipped. And that's what she felt about her position there. And because of the business gave us the opportunity to tell her to stop.
And how old, just so that people know the time frame, how old were you when you were able to tell your mom she doesn't need to work anymore?
I was like 23, 24. 23,
Okay.
24.
I mean, I don't know if we have a second, but I would love for you to tell the story of when you told her that, because it's not like your mom was sitting at home doing anything or at a very job. She had a very great position, and you had to have that conversation where you're like, hey, you don't have to work anymore. And I think it'll help some new people kind of see what can happen for them.
This is coming from a mom who was like a little, I'm not going to say was negative. She wasn't negative. She wasn't positive. She was worried, Point is, I told her, listen, she was complaining. We were eating her basic fried chicken. We went over to her house, ate some fried chicken, fried rice, and we're eating it. And then she pretty much said, hey, listen, she was complaining about her job. And I pretty much just said, you know what? I think she's pretty much done. So I told her, I think you should stop working. And she said, what do you mean? I was like, it's fine. I think I'll run it up the flagpole. I'll talk to my upline, but I feel like you should stop working and we'll take care of you. She would freaked out. She's like, no, we can't do that. But you could tell when someone wants it, but doesn't really want to say they want it. But I said, hey, listen, I'll take care of you. It's fine. She would say, oh, no, but what about my retirement package, my severance package? I said, I am your retirement package. I am your severance package. And, she got all emotional, started crying like crazy. And that was a great time. And that time I spoke to, my upline, Kunkin and Samina. They spoke to Kumar and Anjali. We all did this whole great...
showed up at her job.
There was like 400, 500 people in front of her building out in Brooklyn, New York, and that was a great time. So anyway, point is, that happened. We went diamond at the age of 26. Now we're 31 years old. From getting started in the business, I recall opening up the starter kit all the way until now. We're at this point. I know, Stephanie, you wrote some stuff here. We have 10 platinums in our team, 20 founders platinums. These are IBO ships. Yeah,
people. I didn't want to
10 platinums,
divide it.
20 founders platinums, 11 rubies, one emerald, one founders emerald, and we're looking forward to having diamonds upon diamonds upon diamonds. And the great part about it is that in comparison to our upline, and obviously I'm going to talk about this in a moment, we haven't really done anything. So what are we doing? Let's just talk about what to expect this evening, and what you guys can expect is what Steph and I want to have a discussion with each other, and we want you guys to join in the conversation as well. I know Kevin was talking about this text message. So it's a way to just join in on the conversation with Steph and I. We're going to be reading this back and forth. A lot of you guys are very excited, and some of y'all are even more excited than others. Let's not even get into that. But if you want to join the conversation, I'm looking forward to discussing with you guys about specifically in our experience of being in business for it's 12 years now, 11, 12 years. If you take away our business, take away our ID number, which would hurt. Take
the
away
ID number wouldn't hurt, but the people. 'Cause
the
I
people.
love them, but take away all of it.
Take away the cars, the Tesla, everything. Take away our
All
homes,
the
our
good stuff,
investments, our
yeah.
money, everything. Take it all away. What would we do from zero to get to where we're at right now faster? And I think that's going to be a good conversation and discussion that Steph and I are going to have, but also what we're all going to have here together. And if you want to react or you want to respond, if you want to have a question, feel free to put it here. I know at the end we're going to be having a Q&A session, but obviously even while we're talking, if we'll take a look at here and chat with you guys. I know a couple of you guys are already messaging like crazy. We have here, somebody said flush that job, funny guy. Who said this? I think that's Bolson. Let's not even get into that. Julian Emily was talking about first time. Congratulations, Julian Emily. Glad to have you here. We have Chandler from the Bell and Madsen team. Love to have you here. Congratulations also on joining us. He asked us a question already. We'll dive in a moment. Tim and Sinadra. Apologize if I mispronounced your name. Doing my best here. But anyway, let's do this. And also, before we do get started, I want to give a special shout out to my upline. Steph and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for each and every one of you guys. From the bottom of my heart, I love y'all, forever indebted to y'all, and we'll do our best to make sure that we have the values and standards that you guys have taught us and pay forward throughout our whole organization. And I know that Bill's definition of success is how many lives are better off because you've lived. And I know every single one of you guys in my upline, our lives are better off because you lived, but also more importantly, my team's lives are better off because you lived. our families' lives are better off because you lived, and because of the price that you paid back in the 90s. Continue to do to this day. I fully give Amway Corporation for being an amazing company. It really is the number one business model in the world, and that is straight facts. That is not an opinion. I know that for a fact.
Facts, no telephone.
Facts, no telephone. There you go. Absolutely. And the entire staff. And of course, I'd be dumb and foolish not to give a shout out to the BWW staff.
Yeah.
We are what we are because of Worldwide. Amway is a great business vehicle, a great business opportunity, but Worldwide is what gave us the mentorship. The mindset. They gave us the platform to build up our heart, build up our mind, and they gave us a skill set, to really build the business the way that we need to. And BWW is not just a company. If you have to think about it, companies are this entity that you just name. It's a building. It's not just that, but it's the people and it's the cause behind it. And specifically, we have to give a shout out to Lisa, Danny, Eric, Chris, Kevin, Michaela, and so many different other people that have really, really played a major, major role. And I really do love and appreciate each and every one of you guys.
And I think also the Brit leaders, all the diamonds,
all the diamonds.
I mean, we can't dive into it too much because it's timing.
A lot of people.
But I don't think you guys will ever understand how every single one of you played a role for us to just even be here, for us to just have the life that we have. As most of you know, we have a 2.5-year-old son now with another son on the way. And I always think about how my kids just live such a great life. They're even their mindset at this age. When I see Jason just enjoying life to the purest, and I know what his future is going to look like, I can't look at that and not think about the Brit Diamonds. I cannot look at that and not think about the EDCs and everybody that's a part of that Brit Club.
Here we have a little bit of a diagram of Bill Britt's LOS when it comes down to just diamonds. I'm sure a lot of people would like to have this just as IBOs, but there's this, just to name a few people here, frontline wise, big shout out to Wayne and Carol Martin, obviously with Valerie Nadia and Rick and Tony Fairchild. Shout out to you guys. Love y'all so much. We have Marsha Johnson, Dave Taylor, Brian Herosian, Nick Olnick. I mean, legends. Carol Youngblood. It's an individual that really doesn't need to necessarily build the business and show up to meetings, but I still see her actively, building a business, showing up to a lot of BWW meetings. Shout out to you. Of course, I'd be foolish also not to talk about the MOC, but give me 1 second before I get into that. The calendars, shout out to you guys. Bobby Britt, shout out to you. GW and Edna, the Fraternos. These are all legends, that have really, really played a major role. And a lot of you guys who are new have no concept. A lot of y'all may not know these names because you're new. And I think it becomes an obligation for you to know where you came from and know the people, the OGs that have made a platform for us to get to where we're at right now. I'm getting hot. I'm going to take this off.
No problem. And that's a part of your journey in the business. It's like you are all going to have like a box of memories and moments and like points where you had maybe a small clip from GW Anakin talking about it's fun making money, or the first time you ever get to hear Dave and Mia Taylor. Like these moments right now as a new person you don't understand, but as you grow your business you're like, wow, that was a definitive moment and it came from them. And I know you mentioned the MOC, but for me, I still remember going to my first function and listening to Paul and Leslie Miller and thinking wow, like this is somebody who just stands for certain things and says it like it is, and I appreciated that. And or even Angela Claudia Nardoni. Every time they speak, it's like a paradigm shift from a new person to even now as diamonds. Every time they speak, I feel like I just grow as a person. And obviously our offline Kumar and Kanti and Lata, Kumar Naji and Kanti and Lata, part of the MOC, and new MOC members,
Ray and
Joanne Malillo, the best of the best. I still remember their talk at my first function. Their topic was everything you do makes a difference, and obviously that's why they are in the MOC now. So, but yeah.
Yep, they deserve it. So, Before we do, a couple more things just to kind of set the tone. If y'all want to go on Instagram, you can follow Worldwide, BRITT Worldwide on Instagram. If you want to tag them in your headquarters or however way that you're watching the BBS, that'd be great. Again, because we're one big community and we're united at our homes. So, or wherever it is that you're tuning into this from, feel free to reach out to them. And also, a quick disclaimer: everything that we're about to talk about is based off of our experience. I'm not going to tell you how to build your business. That's between you and your upline. Everything that Steph and I are going to be, speaking about are our opinions as well. Some of it you may agree, and you may or may not agree with our opinions. And don't worry necessarily about it. I think the worst thing you can do is say, you know what, I don't agree with what Nick and Steph believe. I quit. I think that's really stupid. If you don't mind, again, that's also could be my opinion as well. I really do think that that's dumb, and you should have a little bit more of a thick skin. And if we do say something that you deem and you feel is problematic, then it is what it is.
Yeah, you'll have plenty of opportunities to talk to us at Achievers, at Diamond Club.
I would love to have a conversation.
Maybe you can do a podcast BBS and tell us how you feel about your own opinions and your experiences.
We live in a world, unfortunately, where that's not the case as much. This whole cancel culture, whatever might be the case, is not. I don't agree with, because I think it's important that we kind of have a forum where we have opposing.
Me and you don't always agree on everything.
That's straight facts. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, just a disclaimer. I think it's important to know that even though we do our best to represent BWW, the values and the principles, we are also humans, have had our own experience and our own opinions. So if at any point you feel like, oh, that doesn't make sense, that's why you have an upline. That's why you have a coach to kind of get things cleared up.
Confusion or any type of negative, feel free to reach out to them.
So that's important.
Average income, Stephanie and I are going to be speaking about various different levels in building a business. The key thing is that what's great about the Amway business is that you can build a business as small or as big. If we talk about platinum, I might hint that whatever income I might have made or some of my platinums make at that level, or emeralds or diamonds and then some. Don't really that's you can listen to all of the BSM.
Yeah, I was going to say,
most recent BSM.
The best disclaimer is go towards the end of a BSM audio.
You can learn all the stats, all the 0.01% or whatever, or what the average income is. I think the current average income is like $200-something a month as an IBO in the United States, and whatever might be the case in Canada. So, but regardless, don't worry too much about it. Boom.
Let's dive in.
I
think, so I guess I'll ask you.
First.
Okay.
We start over.
Yeah.
Boom. We find out it's gone. Dang. What do we do? Mm-hmm. We lost everything. I would get started back in the Amway business.
Yeah.
Can we just say that real quick? I think it's important to acknowledge that. I would get started. I would look for an Amway IBO and I'd say, listen, I'm getting started somehow, some way. Boom. What do we do? Now we have an ID number. What are you doing building from the ground up?
So
what's Stephanie Nwoke doing?
I think the first thing I would have, if I could go, not go back, but if there's a lot of things I would have kept the same, because I feel like our journey in this business was special, was unique. I appreciate every single moment. I think you asked one of our founders, Platinums, recently, like, have you ever felt have you ever felt bad for somebody leaving the business, or like felt like you could have done more? And the IBO said yes, but at the same time, I feel like the moments I failed in the business were the most important, because if I didn't fail, I wouldn't have learned how to handle it later on. So again, I wouldn't change everything, but there are a few things that I will emphasize more. And I think one of the things that I would have done right off the bat is I would have understood and valued what I had a little bit more. A lot of the times, everybody talks about, okay, you're in business, right? So you go and find that Amway IBO, you get in business. But there's a difference between getting in business and like having, I don't know if the word is motivation or a dream to make that business happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think majority of the time people have to be motivated to build whatever, to do anything in life. But I think you're not going to be motivated unless you don't value what it is that you have sitting in front of you. And without getting into the logistics of actually why the Amway business really is number one, because obviously everyone here should be well educated as IBOs as to the Amway business. But nonetheless, I think it's just people don't, for me as a new IBO, I know it took me probably about like 4 or 5 months to actually appreciate, wow, I have an opportunity here. And you know, like one of those things, like Americans also are very, very spoiled overall, right? They complain too much about. Again, America's not like a perfect country, but it by far is the best country. And a lot of Americans, they complain about this and that and blah 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 blah. But then when you go to another country that you don't necessarily have everything that's really pretty much spoon fed to you here, you go like, wow, I value. I don't know really. I remember the point where I realized I'm going to build a business, but I remember those a specific phase and a specific time in my career, and I don't know if you can also recall for you, when you realize like, yo, I value what I have here, and I need to actually put action behind it. Thank God I have this opportunity. And again, I think what is the opportunity? It's Amway, but it's also coupled with a lot of other different things here. So let's.
Yeah, no, the key word you said there was need. I think for me, the business started, or at least my journey to Diamond, my journey to really build a big business started when I stopped wanting and I started to need certain things. Like it was like.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean wanting, need?
You know who? There's a great almost all of his BWTV talks, but Bill Britt talks about like, if you want a house, but this like, you can want a house, but do you need a house?
He would say,
he goes, need a house, right? Like, do you want this or do you need it? Right?
Need. And he would say it a certain way. I miss anyway.
Yeah. So it's not going to that. But I think that's the first thing that you need to have. You have to have some needs, some things that are gonna make you want to get out to build this business. This business is designed to be built in your spare time, part-time. But if you don't have a need, if you don't have a reason, then what's the point? You can use that same spare time, part-time to scroll. You can, it's very easy to not build this business because you don't have a very definitive burning desire that gets you going.
Well, I think, then for me and you, the need, so for you, the need might be a little bit different because we're kind of taking away our business. So it's like we didn't, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
We're back.
Let's say if we start over, like kind of hit reset. I know my need was I needed bread. I needed money. That's it. I'm not interested in nothing else.
And I think that's
money. But starting now, if I took it away, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right. Money's not that big of a deal.
You said that we're going to take our income too.
Yeah, you're taking our income. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. But I think it's important to notice that because as a new person, sometimes when you start your journey, you get so excited about the people. Like for me, remember I loved the people. I'm like,
I wanted the money.
Yeah, I was like, these people are great, but I was never thinking about profit. I never was thinking about money, and that in itself was a flawed way of thinking because I could have very easily turned this into a social club versus an actual business. And I would have hurt a lot of people because all I needed was their friendship and not a need for us to create money and move forward. So I think money is an important need. And I think everybody as a new person, or even if you've been in business for a while, you need to set a goal of how much income do you want to generate from this business? Like what does part-time income look like to you? Like what is that? What how much do you want to make? How many times I always ask, that's my first question to a new person. Like, well, what's your goal? Like in a year from now, how much money we're helping you make here. So that's a need. I think another big need for us was significance and impact. We knew even back then, I don't want to dive into that, but we knew that our careers were going to provide income. They were going to provide bread. As a lawyer, as a doctor, we knew, or as a physician, what is it?
Physician scientist.
Physician
you have
scientist.
A sexy Spanish
Thank you so much. We were going to make some great income. But I don't know. I didn't want to. I feel like you never read a tombstone and say there was a great lawyer, right? Like there's a tombstone that says great lawyer doesn't mean as much as there was a great person. That was somebody who changed lives. That was somebody who created an impact, and coming from my background, I don't know if we're going to dive into our story a little bit, but, my mom did a lot to get into this country. She left everything behind. She came to America looking for the American dream. And if I wanted to work a job, if I wanted to be employed, or if I wanted a very good life, I could have lived that anywhere else. Maybe not as good as America, but I could have.
The opportunities that were put in front of you.
But my mom came here because she wanted us to have a great life. She wanted to make sure I was born in this soil so that I can have opportunities that weren't granted anywhere else. And I never wanted to owe her. I always talk about dream debt. I didn't want to be indebted for her. I didn't want to have her sacrifices just be debt that was never paid. I wanted her sacrifices to be investments. And now seeing what we've been able to create, that's exactly that. But at the end of the day, though, having needs, having dreams, you can have all of that. But I feel like there's always something like I have a lot of dreamers, and you know that we've known a lot of dreamers. You know, my family. You sit down with a Dominican, whoo, they can dream. They can take you places with their dreams, what they're gonna do, what they're gonna buy, what they're gonna wear. You're laughing because you know, but there's a second step, right? Like it's not just enough to have these dreams and these needs. Like you actually have to. I don't even know what it might be. Like there's something else to get you from your comfort zone to actually go and do it. So you define that. You define, hey, I need to do something. I want certain things, and then you got to get to the next level. What for you? What do you think that was? Or what do you think it is that most people don't have to get their dreams?
Well, so what the question was?
I think my question is like. So obviously you can have all these dreams, you can get an Amway, know all this stuff, right? But why is it that some people who have they're great dreamers, they have like, you know, very strong needs too. Like they actually need to build this business. Like they need some bread, but then they don't do it. What do you think is that? And it might go back to what you said about them not valuing what they had, but I don't know what you think about that.
That's self-image. I think it's belief. It's self-image. They don't know what's possible. It's one of those that you live in your own type of prison cell in a way, your own belief system and your own mindset. And when you're programmed, because life, and not to sit down and point fingers as to everyone else, but I can understand why the environment that an individual's around, the parents that they raised them, the environment in a sense of their family, the schooling system. Whatever, all of that plays a role into an individual's belief system. It's like what Kumar has always said about somebody's self-image and their own mindset. And based off of your own mindset and your overall subconscious level, I think that does play a role in your decisions and what your belief is, your belief system. So that's why I believe some people just stay where they're at and they're happy. But, you know, for me, when it comes down to the needs of wanting to build a business, money was number one for me. And I even to this day, I think no matter what, money is really what it's a bad mentality to have. But the saying that money makes the world go round, I think in churches, it's not like if you go to a church and they pass the little pan or the little bowl that they're not asking for hugs and kisses and good intentions. You know, when you go to charity events, they're not asking for good, hugs and kisses and good intentions. People go to work for money, and you need a lot of it. Money buys you the type of houses you want to have. Money buys you the cars that you want. Money buys you the private jets that you want to go. Traveling costs money. Your kids' education costs money. Insurance costs money. Everything costs, majority of things. Now, money doesn't solve everything, but it can most certainly solve a majority of things that don't really count, so you can focus on the things that actually do count. Like for me, I didn't want money to be such a factor that I couldn't be with my son whenever I want to be with my son type of stuff. I just wanted control. I wanted choices. I wanted security. And I don't know what got me to think that I can accomplish that. But whatever it was, I'm happy that it somehow did, so that I could see that this was it. And how I find, that's the reason why I got in, why I stayed in. I think really the amazing friendships and the people that I was around. Why I decided to build a business, I think it was really our first conference, first major convention. That one was at Free Enterprise. There were about 10, 15,000 people there. There was diamond recognition. That shifted everything. But at that point, I feel like, hey, I know that this specific opportunity is going to get me what I've always wanted as a kid, was to take care of my family, was to be in control, to be the major provider, to be the protector of my family type of stuff. And I don't know, I think...
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially for me, that my biggest issue in this business was always my self-image. I got in, even though it looked from the outside that I had a huge self-image based on what I had accomplished, I just struggled with belief. I struggled with faith. What helped me, and I think this is what I would recommend to people who have really strong needs and they don't know how to get out of it, is to start to develop their faith muscle and to start to develop their belief muscle. Because a lot of people think that you need to have belief.
There's actually a really good talk by Kumar. Sorry.
Yeah, Faith by Kumar, shameless plug, and it's not even shameless; it's like prideful plug.
Prideful plug.
You should look up that talk. But he talks about how you have to develop that muscle. And I remember in our business and in the beginning days, we made a very conscious effort to develop faith in like 5 different entities. We're like, if we can develop faith in these 5 things, it will take care of us being able to move on. And I know we got that. I think that was also from Bill Britt. Heard it from Kumar, so like it would just pass down. But it was developing faith in certain things to help us ultimately develop faith in ourselves. Like the first thing that you and I became very intentional about is having faith in the actual company, right? Because a lot of the times
Bill
people
always said that you had to have faith in 5 major areas. There's also a talk by Kumar called Seminar. It's on BSM Extreme. But there's 5 major things that you need to have faith in.
And I think when we started to work on those 5, at least for me, when I started to work in those 5 areas, I had everything I needed to start taking steps in the business. Because I already had nice dreams.
I think that's a major thing for a lot of new IBOs. I'm glad you brought that up. But a lot of new IBOs, even thinking about it in my journey, there was a little bit of doubt, a little bit of fear, a little bit of hesitancy in selling out to the company, selling out to worldwide, selling out to the team. I think I would just list them. Sort of 5 things.
So the 5 things is faith in Amway.
One is number 1 is faith in God.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was doing an order of.
Bill has always said the first thing that you need to have faith in is in God. Mm-hmm. The second thing is into this country, the United States of America. Mm-hmm. The third thing is Amway as a company. Number 4 is worldwide as a system. Number 4, sorry. Did I say number 4 or number 5? Number 4 is worldwide as a system. And number 5 is the team that you're a part of, which leads to the hidden one, which is actually 6.
Yeah, which develops the 6th one, which
develops
is
faith in yourself.
Yeah.
So those are 6 major areas. I guess 5 when it comes down to everything else, but leads to the 6th area that you need to make sure that you have faith in yourself as an individual.
Yeah, right? And I thought that's what I'm saying. That was a shift for me. When I started to work on these 5 things, it just kind of poured into me. And I started to believe that I could do it. Having faith, like you mentioned, having a faith in God. And we're not going to dive into that because this is not a sermon. That was a little bit of a struggle, though. It was a struggle, but I think we took steps to make sure that we started to trust that there was something bigger than us. And that everything that seemed, for me, I remember there was a point in my business, I'm like, wait, if I have a God that can handle all of these situations, I can find 6 people and go diamond. Like it was like, you know what I'm saying? I have somebody who's covering me.
I was a super atheist.
Yeah, you
prior
were.
to getting into the business, and I don't think I didn't believe in him. I just didn't like him. I have my own situation struggles that I'm not going to get into right now about it. But point is that I was just angry because he wasn't answering my prayers at my time, the way that I wanted to at my time. And I had this whole philosophy of what God was, and when you're a kid, you have these kind of like images. And I remember my mom watching Touched by an Angel on CBS.
What if God was one of us?
Yeah, so that was Touched by an Angel, and I used to think like, heck, if I pray, maybe a dove will show up and take my coffee away, or I don't know, lightning might strike or something like that. So I just had this misconceived notion of what God was, and situations happened. My dad left, and I just became bitter. Got into business. I was just bitter. I remember you and I getting into arguments about it. But point is that that was something I couldn't wrestle though enough, because when you have science pretty much proves the more that you realize that how are we alive and how are we walking, talking miracles? Like the fact that you're able to think. I mean, just think about just this, even the seminar. This webinar. It's just amazing to sit down and think. I'm conjuring up an idea in this brain that even science has no idea really what the brain really is. It's somehow calculating something for me to conjure up something called an idea. The idea goes through a lot of different calculations to go through, and my mouth is even shaping and shifting different muscles. My voice box is creating vibrations to go into this. This was created by humans so that it receives information to go through this whole computer system, all created by humans, to go and touch every planet, every country, whatever country that worldwide. It's incredible if you really sit down and think about it. So, I mean, the more you realize there are more galaxies, the more you go like, dude, there has to be something that's greater. I remember hearing Bill Britt talk about this stuff, and, I used to think I was an intellectual, like, how can this man really, really take a deep dive into, spirituality and God and this, that, and the third. And it's something I really, 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 really struggled with, especially because of how, at that time, a lot of my friends and a lot of mainstream media at the time were kind of countering against it. But I had to really sit down and realize it. And after a while, you open up your heart and you become, that's why it's important to have discussions with people who have opposing opinions with you. I had multiple discussions with my upline. I've had multiple discussions with friends and family, and I realized sooner or later that there is a God, and it's a lot easier to live a life knowing that the universe and that something wants us to be prosperous, and you're a part of something that's a lot bigger than you, and what you do counts, as opposed to you just kind of like being a point. This is a very, very small point when it comes down to eternity and existence. And as you, again, I don't want to really take this crazy deep dive into all of this, but I had to realize that for myself. You were always very, 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 very well versed, and I had to figure that out myself as a journey. I appreciate you for your patience and your love and your prayers over me. Because of you, I'm a saved man. Right, but yeah, and that was I remember one of my point is.
And the powerful thing about this business is that it's not like one specific faith, because especially we've seen it with our team, or even our LOS. They're a different religion than we are. Our downlines are different, but it's just having that belief that there is something bigger that you're taking care of, and that there is something on your side. To help you accomplish your dreams. And when you believe in that,
doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, Hindu, whatever, Buddhist, Jew, whatever might be the case.
Yeah, and it's funny because, again, what we talked about, how it spills over to that sixth element of believing in yourself. When you start to believe that, you start to believe, like you mentioned, in your own, how much of a miracle you are. And you start to realize that, like, it's actually I'm trying to word it correctly, but a lot of people think it's actually what's it called? It's more common for you to be special than for you not to be special. You know what I'm saying? There was so much work that was put into your creation that it's like
it takes more of a faith muscle to realize that
you're not special, than to find the reasons why you are special.
Cells that you just came about. You're here and you go.
Exactly.
Type of stuff. It's a lot more faith to realize that there is no God that doesn't love you, that doesn't want you to be, prosperous. I mean, when you really sit down and think about the human thought, and this is how I thought about before, but even as humans, just the idea that we have consciousness, and there is no animal in the animal kingdom that does what we do, in a sense that I remember Kumar used to say, you don't see dogs come up and save up doggy treats.
Yeah.
You hear that?
To send their kids to college.
Yeah. But humans, there's just something that's different. And I think ultimately, without getting into the Bible and everything, but I kind of have to in a way. But it's just the idea that, in for those of you who are not familiar with this, with the story behind it. But point is that God created us, and the one thing that He created us that's very similar to Him in a sense that we have free choice. And you can define a tiger will be a tiger because it's a tiger. Tiger will not change itself from being a tiger. Lion is going to be a lion. Ant is going to be an ant. A giraffe is going to be a giraffe. A dog is going to be a dog. A cat's going to be a cat. But humans, there's just something different that no matter how much of a pattern they have in their decisions, for some reason, there's always that point where they sit down and realize that they still have a choice no matter what. And I think that just stems on the fact of why humans are the premium animal in the animal kingdom, if you will. And I think that really has to do with the fact that there really is a God. But and then anyway, to each his own. Everyone has
and as
their
we
own.
move on to the next thing, having faith in country, I think it's important to have faith in country, because if you don't believe that the country you're in is good enough for you to achieve your goals, then you're always going to be shaky. You're always you're not going to want to build a big business, because, and I think a lot of people, and again, we're not going to dive into that. I know that
we keep saying we're not going to dive into it. Let's just dive into it. That's it. It's done. We're diving in, and we're already in the pool.
Especially coming from immigrant backgrounds, we understand, we really value this country.
Let me just do this, okay? I'm sorry. Point is, America, like I said, America really is not perfect by no stretch of imagination. There's no society in the world that is ever that's perfect. I don't think there ever will be. But we do have to acknowledge and appreciate that, yes, there's things that we need to fix. But as a country, as a whole, America really is the number one country in the world. I don't think you see people flee America unless they're criminals trying to leave the American legal system. But other than that, there's no really reason why people will line up on visas, line up at the embassy to get their visa to leave. There are people who are not digging holes. They're not swimming oceans. They're not illegally leaving the country, but they'll come here by the bucket load, legally or illegal. Doesn't matter. Point is that people do whatever they need to do to come to this country. And I think a lot of the times people have to ask themselves, why is that the case? Why do people come here? And I think, yes, it has to do with freedom of speech. And if you take a look at the Constitution, everything.
All the rights, all the freedom.
Everything, all the rights, all the freedom. But ultimately, I think one of the major reasons why this is by far the best country is because of the American free enterprise system.
Yep. Being able to have your own business.
To be able to have your own business with little government intervention and regulation, with certain, because there has to be some form of you're doing something that's a little shady over there, right? But it's just some other countries you can build something from nothing and they just come and they swoop, they take it away, just like that. The overall lifestyle of America. Sometimes, and we sit down and think that even the poorest people in America live like
richer,
kings.
Than
in some countries
I think
out
I
there.
said that we were having a discussion about, and I'm like, it's better to be poor in America sometimes than to be middle class where I'm from.
Do you feel like it's more mainstream right now, and why is that the case? For people to why is it that I feel that it's kind of cool, hip, or something like that to not appreciate America for what it is? Why do you think? And why do you think? Because I was kind of like that when I was in college.
Yeah, we were for sure.
Why is that?
I will never understand why, but I will tell you what it does. When you are not grateful for where you live, and when you're operating from a system of lack of gratitude or ungratefulness, it is very difficult, like I mentioned, to create, right? Because if the whole thought process is I am unhappy here, this is blah blah blah, and you're constantly in that state of mind of like problems and seeing the negative and seeing the bad, you're not gonna be able to, versus somebody who has gratitude in their heart, wakes up and is thankful, wakes up and wants to do more, right? Not that they're content, because that's a very big difference, but they just feel good about life. They feel like, hey, if I build something on this soil, it will last. That person will create huge things versus somebody who's constant. They're just stuck, and I don't know.
They're asking themselves, what's the point?
What's
like you're
the
pouring
point?
you're pouring into a bottomless cup type of stuff. Like no matter what you do, it's just kind of like useless and pointless. And someone else is taking away, or someone else is taking the credit, or someone else is just,
And that's something that
taking all the benefits away.
I always teach, especially the women in my team, but I teach myself, is the one thing I always guard in my mind is what I let in. If especially with me, if I start to feel like my life sucks, right, and everything about me is horrible, it's time for me to get off social media. It's time for me to turn off whatever. Because
when you're lacking what?
When I start to feel like everything around me is horrible, or when I start to lack gratitude, where I start to feel really bad about my like everything, that means I'm intaking too much media. And it's funny because when we were growing up in the business, we were here, turn off your TVs, don't read the newspaper that much, because you don't put that much negative into your mind. But I think it's important to notice that now, newspapers and media is not a television thing. It's not a paper thing. It's on our phones. You scroll through the Explore feed on Instagram, and that's what I say. I don't mind if you do it. But if within 10, 15 minutes you start to question your own worth, you start to question the worth of the people around you, if you start to lose faith in humanity, it's time for you to get off Instagram. Yeah. Because they're always going to highlight the negative for some reason.
Because it grabs your attention more.
Yeah. So it's just kind of something to...
Some of the most positive shows out there are incredibly negative. Yeah. Actually, Family Matters. Remember Family Matters with Steve Urkel? Which is a banging show from back in the day. Or like...
Can I do that?
Yeah, Can I Do That? Or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
That was banging.
I love that show.
I'm sure you loved it. Will Smith is amazing.
Okay, anyways. So you were talking about how even the most positive sitcoms have a lot of
negative.
negative.
What? They're 90% of the times they're just straight negative in the last 10, 20, the last 5 minutes. That's the resolution of after 25 minutes of that happened, this happened, boom, 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 boom. So I guess I think mainstream media, just to grab your attention and to grab, your I think they just, the brain, I think naturally, because the mind as a human, it tends to lean more towards negative. Because they're being more negative, I guess it just grabs you more. And I think it's a lot easier for people to let other people think for them. It's a lot easier for other people, for people to let other people think for them, make decisions for them. And because mainstream media is grabbing people left and right, maybe not mainstream media, but whatever might be the case, whatever it is that's out there grabs their attention, it tends to lean people to make decisions the way that they want.
Yeah, that's
the agenda. That's
the biggest
there.
intangible we got from this business is learning to think for ourselves. Well, if we move on to the next one, is having faith in Amway, right?
Yeah.
I think this one I'm really excited to talk about because for me, it had very concrete ways to do it, right? A lot of people, when they get in this business, the reason why it takes them a long time to build it is because even though they went through a process, they did all of this to be able to get into the business, they start to question, is Amway going to work? Is it real? Am I going to, that doubt that comes in. And, you know, there's a way to build that faith. I think diving in and studying Amway.
If you actually take a deep dive into Amway as a company, not look at it from a third-party perspective or someone's opinion or someone's experience, when you really look at it just straight facts, it's actually an incredibly credible and incredibly powerful company.
Yeah,
for a fact.
Understanding all the statistics about it, which you go through in the business plan.
Everyone has gone through the business plan. But
exactly, but even looking at how incredible they are with staying cutting edge with products.
What are some of the things that you realize like, this is a good company?
For me, the first thing was that they were listed on Forbes.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had a really negative, one of my best friends, my first friend in college, got super negative and sent me like this whole article. Mind you, she emails it to me, like she can't talk to me. I was like, why are you emailing me? And I remember I got shook a little bit based on the article. I'm like, oh, what does this mean? And it wasn't even about Amway. It was just about like general like bad business deals in life. Like, so it was funny that she sent that to me. And I think one of the biggest points of strength that I built was when I looked up, because somebody had mentioned at a meeting that we're on Forbes. So I looked at Amway on Forbes, and I saw that we were listed as a privately owned company, one of the largest in America. I was like, this is awesome. And I looked up my friend's name. You know, I was trying to be funny. And back then we didn't have screenshots. So I remember I had to take my phone and like take a photo and then like find a way to convert it into an email and send it to her and say, your name didn't pop up, but Amway did. And I know it sounds silly. I mean, I could do that because I was close with her. But I remember
not do it with everybody, but
that was the first moment that I felt like my faith grew. I'm like, okay, this company is legit. Again, the products too really did it for me, and I'm probably gonna talk a little bit about that later. But I didn't have a lot of credibility in business. I was a history major, I was a nerd. I didn't really work with people, even in the law field. I was trying to find positions where I didn't have to interact with a lot of people or market and do all this stuff. So I was like, business is like different for me. But I knew that the products worked. And every time that I got a product and it tasted good, or every time I called the corporation and they picked up and answered my questions, or I went on the website and I learned about it, that really built my faith up. And I think as new people, sometimes we're so excited with everything that we don't take initiative to do that. I had a downline. I remember that she used to study a product every single day. I'm like, I don't know why you're doing that. But she goes, every time I do that, I feel more confident about Amway. And I think these are just concrete steps that you can take. There is an about section on the Amway website that talks about the values, the principles, the history. That in itself helps build it. And it's important to have it because if you're constantly questioning if the company is legit, then when people question you, you're gonna kind of be like the wind. You're gonna go wherever. You're gonna be like a weed in the wind. Just go wherever it blows you. So that's really. I didn't struggle though with faith in BWW. I feel like from the beginning.
Before getting to BWW, I think there's a saying: men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
You can't deny the numbers. When you look at the facts, you look at the numbers and look at the stats. Amway is a very, very credible company with credible products. The awards that the products and services have given,
the patents, everything.
So you just look at that, you know that it's a very credible company. And yes, the business model is unique and has been unique since decades ago. Just because some folks are not familiar with it, period, I think people tend to look at the Amway business model and they're looking at it from their own perception and perspective and of understanding. But I think a lot of the times, to be open-minded, you have to not question what you're looking at, but question your own the lens in which you're looking it through. You know, and I think when you take when you take a look at when you take a look at Amway, that's it. Now, however, I don't know after even looking at all the numbers, there was just a couple of things that I'm like, yo, this is a serious company. The first time was when I had a goodie, my upline, I got launched a business, and my upline gave me a goodie bag. It was not even a box.
Nugget.
It was a goodie bag.
Give your downline goodie
and
boxes.
And it was an ice cold excess cranberry grape.
Oh, the best.
I remember drinking that for the first time, going like, yo, I could sell this. And I went to college, so there's a lot of things that happen in college. And I was like, yo, I could mix this and I could sell this. And I did, and I make some great money. So anyway, so that was the first one. The second time was when I saw that we got in business in 2009. And that was actually the same time the Orlando Magic were in the process of getting swept by the Lakers. Now, I understand that we're you know, I don't really know. We're not supposed to talk about the whole sweat part, but Kobe Bryant got his MVP award on the Amway logo in the Amway Arena at the time, now the Amway Center.
You were so excited.
I was bugging out. I'm like, wait, that's a serious company. Like, what? That's second. And then the third time, I'm like, yo, I really, really have a great company, is when I remember I called Amway and I mentioned about something wrong with one of my packages. They delivered, and I guess whoever was delivering just kind of threw it. I doubt it was Amway's fault, but he just threw it. I called up the company. They did a couple of verification stuff and said, okay, no problem, we'll send you another one. And I said, okay, would you like me to send back the box, yada, yada? No, just keep it. It's fine. And I'm like, what? What company does that?
Yeah.
So, and the last time I realized, like, yo, I'm in a really, really great company. And I knew it even before I went platinum. But when I went platinum, I had the opportunity to actually visit the Amway Corporation. I'm like, whoa. The company in the sky that you never really interact. You only interact with customer service or anything like that. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, we got to see.
I actually get to actually see the company is when I'm like, wow, this is a great company.
You know, I wanted to leave this for later, but I do think, because you're talking about moments when you realize, I also think getting your first PV check and seeing that money.
Yeah, that's actually true too, yeah.
Because, and I think this is
even though it's small, I'm like, wow.
But for new people now with VCS and Fast Track and all the programs, it's not as small. But I still remember Nick getting his first PV check. It was $10.03. And obviously now we have
mine was $10.01.
Sorry, 1 cent. I added a little bit more.
Over exaggerating my income at the time.
Okay, I won't exaggerate. That's against our
Look at
rules.
this. We have Lisbeth Charlie, and Oscar Caballero from the Q12 part of Vinay Munta. They're saying that Amway is legit the best of the best. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Deb from Fairchild team also plugging in. That's good. I'm sorry, keep going.
You know, go ahead. I like hearing what people are saying.
Yeah.
But no, so I still remember him getting his first check.
Have pride in Amway. Yep.
And I know some of you guys, everybody has direct deposit now, so I feel like
we had an actual paper check.
We're dating ourselves or whatever. But he cashed and he goes, wow, if I can make $10 in this and it didn't bounce, it worked. And I think for everybody here that's listening to us, it has to be a goal for you to get that first PV check, to work with your upline, to figure out how to make that first sale, or because there's something powerful when you see that there is actual money in Amway. That does definitely build up your faith in the company.
And then we have an entity that Bill Britt and all the MOC, what they teach is that we need to have faith in Worldwide. And I think once you realize the role that Worldwide plays and look at the track record of Worldwide, you realize that Worldwide is a master, is a company, and is filled with masters that'll teach people how to build the Amway business. And I think without getting too much into the story, there's actually this book by our upline. I'm not sure which camera, so I'm going to look at both specific. I'm going to look at this one. So it's Iron Man Silken Heart. You can go on bww.com and you can actually put an order in for this. And it talks about the founder. It's a great book. I mean, think about it. It's written by a founder's triple diamond about the best to ever have built the business. So not only are you learning, hearing from a founder's triple diamond and being able to read their words and how they say certain things, that in its own right is something that you can learn a lot from. But also you can learn about the man who actually started BWW, founded BWW, built a business that literally Amway has shifted at what it does based off of what Bill Britt has actually been saying as an independent business owner. The best who ever did it is actually Bill Britt, and it's a great book to learn about the beginning days of and learning about who Bill Britt was and the lives that he's changed. Anyway, but Bill Britt, the BWW is designed really to build up someone's mindset, their self-image, their self-worth, equip them with skill sets and everything like that.
Yeah.
How did you? So I know for me, I felt like I had a high self-image. I didn't, thinking about it, but at that then I knew I did. You always knew you didn't, and you had your own struggles. So I think, for me, it was more like kind of like just building on what I felt I knew I already could, what I was worthy of. I know that you didn't feel like you were super worthy of for various different reasons. If you don't mind me asking, why did you feel that way? A little bit of a backstory. I'm gonna give you a pretty decent amount of time with this, but a backstory on why you were such in a dark place getting into the business, and how did you get out of that, and how did you build on top of that, so that you can actually pour into people's lives and build a business the way you need to?
Yeah, so this is why I think BWW was the easiest thing for me to have faith in, because I always knew that education was key, right? Obviously, you and I went to really great schools. We always worked hard. We studied hard. And, I'll start with the end. How did I get out of the dark stage? It really was me like studying BWW. Let's start with the books. Anytime that I talk about rebuilding or building something big, I always talk about you need to read. And my team knows that my famous thing to say is that you read first because you want to heal certain things, but you also read because you want to lead. And the books in the system, they really allow me to have a lot of in-depth conversations with myself that I couldn't, that my coach may have not be able to tell me. Like, you couldn't sit down with me and say, hey, Stephanie, what happened to you, X amount of years ago is affecting the way that you treat people. But I'm reading a personality book or a people skill books, and I'm like, oh, wow, I struggled to interact this way because of that, right? The books also allow me to see things of myself that I didn't, people probably knew.
The Johari window, right?
Yeah,
Remember
the Johari window.
Yeah.
So it taught me a lot of that. So the books allow me to have that personal time to just fix certain things, fix certain mindsets. I also didn't have any type, like I mentioned, any type of business background. So the books taught me to think different. I still remember reading Compound Effect and realizing, the reason why I am feeling bad about myself sometimes is not because there's something wrong with me, but because I have really bad habits. I will wake up a certain way. I will say certain things to myself, what you say when you talk to yourself. And that was compounding after a while, and I was starting to believe all these things. So the books was like the first step of BWW for me.
But why? But what got you in that place, though? Like,
No, so I'm starting with the end. I'm talking about how I got out of it, and I'll talk about what happened. The other thing was the audios. The audios for me were key. After I figured it out, remember in the beginning we used to get CDs? Now you have apps, which is so awesome.
Very convenient.
That's a great thing about Bird Worldwide too. They keep getting better. We can go all day and talk about how amazing.
Again.
I mean, just check out their Instagram posting. Like, it's just been like out of this world. All the promotions, BMP, everything's just getting better and better and better. So amazing. But I remember my upline had given me a lot of audios, and I kind of just refused to listen to them, mainly because I wasn't used to the whole like a podcast. Like, I wasn't used to like people just talking.
It's a new
very
area,
new for me.
Arena. TED Talks wasn't really big then. Motivational talks weren't really big then. I mean, maybe not in our world, I feel.
Yeah, I also didn't do a lot of listening to music, so I never had noise in the background. I was always quiet. So, but I still remember the first talk I ever listened to that connected with me.
Which one is that?
I don't even remember the name. It was like a random panel. I think Hiroshin was on one side, and then I think maybe
it's not available now, or no? Is that?
I don't know.
You remember?
I wish I could tell you. It was just a moment.
You just know it was a talk.
They brought somebody up on stage. It was a single girl, because I was building a single at that time. I was dating you, but I was building a single, and she just goes up and she just says one line, and I'm like, I need to listen to more audios. Like, it was just like it clicked. Associations too, just being around.
Oh my God! See, that's the thing. I love the convenience of all this like online stuff. It really is convenient, but I don't know. I just it's one thing to actually physically be with someone. We all know that, right? I mean, when you go in, like, if you watch, anyone who's into sports, there's a soccer game to watch on TV, which is great. But when you're actually like in a soccer stadium, I mean, imagine that. I mean, I miss those actually in live events, but we'll get back to that as times get back to normalcy. If you will.
Even like just being at functions, getting that mindset. I was being poured into so much that my cup started to overfill, and I started to overflow.
Do you think it was BWW and your upline, or
it was a combo of both? But obviously, BWW provided the platform because my coaches and my mentors can only give me their experience, but I needed to hear from Sugit and Kajal Lashmani, right? I needed to hear their talks.
Oh my God! You know one of my favorite. Favorite Sugit and Kajal talk is 1469.
Yeah,
1,469 days. I remember listening to that, crying in the back of the Toyota Sienna. I was in Grand Concourse and in the Bronx, New York, crying in the back of my Sienna. I was going through some no-shows, and I heard there's a part where Kumar and Kanti was saying to to Sugit, and it was called Communicate at the time, but now it's BMP. God, saying, "Hey man, you are officially full time building a business." I was crying. So yeah,
no, and I needed to hear from. It was not just my LOS. I needed to hear from all the LOSs. I needed to hear all these stories.
Oh Harry
by
Jim Maynard.
We were just talking about it the other day, like
Chasing
the Bullets
oh my
special.
Jim Brooks.
When it
if you don't tear up at that point where you get, I can do it. I can build this business. So if you don't start tearing up at that point, you are heartless.
I went to my upline's house, asked him, "Board, I'm going to build this." Plop, he passed out. So all of that, right? Yeah. That's what got me out. That's what built my self-image. That's what made me realize. First, it was that even if I didn't believe in myself, I had a group of people that believed in me and they believed in the cause. Yeah. And the cause, the people, was bigger than me and my insecurities.
Yeah.
Why I had those insecurities, I mean, the way I was brought up, I didn't have a dad growing up.
Do a little background, Dominican household.
Yeah. My mom is a single mom. I had a lot of responsibilities, so I feel like I put on a very good front for everybody else to take care of my family. I was very obsessed with being successful for my family. But there was a lot of generational situations happening with poverty. I always tell people poverty is not the lack of food or the lack of a place to live or just being in the hood or being in the projects. I think the real issue with poverty is when you start to think that you lack something. It's what it does
poverty
to your mind.
Poverty is a mindset.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that leave the hood, but there's a lot of people that the hood never leaves them. Yeah. You can get out of poverty, but sometimes it's just in you. It can be in you.
You've seen a lot of these hip hop people. They make all this bread real quick, crazy money. They become super successful on YouTube or something like that. They get all this money. They sign a record label, record deal. They go and they live in some mansion. And on the outside looking in, it's like a mansion, but when you go in, it's still the hood. It's still the projects. You can feel the spirit. You can hear you can just feel it. So I know what you're talking about in a sense.
So, I grew up with, seeing domestic violence. I grew up seeing things just walking from my house to my apartment from school. Walking from school to my apartment. So I saw a lot of stuff. And the blessing was because, as you mentioned earlier, I always have faith in God. So that kind of always cruised me out. God always was moving me out of certain situations. But there was a lot of stuff that I walked into this business, a lot of baggage, a lot of luggage, a lot of things that made me think that I didn't deserve it, made me think that I didn't have certain skill sets. I also confused worth with personality, right? So a lot of the people that I saw that were successful outside of this business were very loud, were very outgoing, had a lot of confidence. They will walk in and command a room. I was a person that if I walk into a room, I will not say hi to anybody unless I was said hi to, not because I think I'm better, but because I am intimidated. You remember when I first met Diamonds in this business, I used to be so stressed out.
Even now, I feel like I still get a little, we're with Kevin and Beth here hanging out. I'm still like,
it's different.
Kevin, Beth.
I know, it's different to be, amazed, but it was like I felt like
there's a sense of like respect, but we
then
felt
there's that I was on the other end. So again, it was all of that. I walk into this business with all of that, and now I feel like I'm called to be bigger. I'm called to do better, but I feel like I can't. And again, I still remember I decided there was a function that we attended. our first FED ever. That was our first function, and Gandhi and Nata were new double diamonds. You remember all of that?
Diamonds.
And I think that was that was a function we got to hear Bill Britt speak. I think that was like the first function he
that was his first. It was his first time back after a while.
And I made a decision after Bill Britt spoke. I still remember. I'm like, I don't know if I can. I don't know anything about me, but I can follow these people.
Yeah, there's something about the people.
I can follow this team, and I'm gonna do everything it takes to be a team player. So I feel like my journey was I'm gonna be a team player, and in order for me to be that team player, in order for me to follow the cause and follow the movement, I had to dive in and really, invest into myself. And I think that goes into having faith in the team. I saw so much winning.
It's too easy to have faith in a team. I think it's too easy to have faith in a team. I mean, you come in at different associations, meetings, webinars. When you go in fall extravaganza, a lot of new IBOs, you'll go to fall extravaganza. There's going to be pin recognition, a whole sea of people, and all the success that's happening a part of the team.
They're going to see EDC, Ali and Maka and their story.
Brand new EDC, Ali Maka.
Manish and Priya.
Brand new diamonds, Manish and Priya Sharma.
I mean,
Brand new founders EDCs. I don't want to miss it. There's just so many. Brand new founders EDCs. Kankan and Samina, Maru Cheta, Tisen Maitri Samaratunga. Sugi and Kaju, new double diamonds. I mean, it's really extremely easy.
So what happened, just to kind
of... Or even at a local level, if you attend like Zoom calls or team meetings at a local level, you can most certainly have faith because you'll have brand new hundreds, brand new 400, brand new 300s, brand new thousands, brand new 4,000s. At that meeting, that's an intimate meeting that you have, whether it be 50 or 100 or 300 people, you'll see like, wow, this team I'm a part of is winning.
Yeah. And I think that's what happened with me. I was seeing winning. I saw what winners look like. And I realized that God wouldn't just sneak a loser in amongst winners. There was a winner in me, and the winning around me was able to wake it up, or awaken it, whatever the grammar is. And that was my real journey. I think that was my journey to like get things together and to begin, like you said, to lead other people and realize. And that's something I'm passionate about now. Like I know that everybody in the Brit team is a winner.
Did you feel like out the gate that you were going to go diamond?
I believe it was possible. I knew you were gonna go diamond.
Oh, I knew. Like I got in. I'm going diamond, and I don't know. I just felt people who just didn't believe me. I just said you're an idiot. I don't know. I just never really got into. I got upset if people doubted me because I just felt like upset that you would doubt me. But I never would go like, oh man. It would never be a lingering thought in my head, But that was me. But for you, very different.
I knew it was possible. This was my thought process was. As long I believe that if I followed the team, if I follow what was being taught, that I could do it. I knew so I could be a good enough student of the Brit system.
If you stuck with the Brit system,
that's all I knew.
Gotcha. I just felt like I had to learn how to build this thing, so I just felt like I had to read all the books, study. I remember sitting down doing not all nighters, but I would study people skill books, like I would study biology books. I would study books about success, like Compound Effect, right? It's a great book talking about the overall success principles about having the proper habits. Atomic Habits is also another one that's out on BWW. But all these books I would read, and I actually would study and try to find the secrets of success or little puzzle pieces that add up over a period of time, just so I can implement it accordingly. But I knew I was going to do it. But again,
I just knew if I follow the system, I told myself if I become a good student of the Brit system, I can be a diamond. Because I noticed that all the diamonds were good students.
I remember a lot of those nights of driving in the car and listening to like a Rocky Covington legend, listening to Rocky Covington talking about Dave Taylor, talking about like you're just driving, it's just a knuckles, in the moon, and just hearing you cry. And I remember, those like awkward moments, like I don't want to look, but you can hear and I'm just, okay, just look straight, or like, I believe in you, babe, everything's going to be okay. But I remember seeing a lot of those struggles.
I was just happy to know that I had like a way to, like I finally, like it was just when you finally know the truth of what could be.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, so then sooner or later you build, so you had faith. So we have to have faith to start over. Okay, if we were to start all over again, We'd have a big dream, a big goal, big why. We'd have to have faith in the companies that we work with. All right, solid. Now, how soon can someone get to that point? Do you think like someone can get in and like 30?
I think you
or is
can,
it like you have to have faith and then participate in the work
I think
ethic?
you can do it throughout. We built the
Okay.
business while we were figuring out the faith and
This
the
is
needs
true.
part.
So, yeah,
So,
because I don't want to make it seem as
it's
if you have to sit
simultaneous.
down there and like, you know,
you don't sit down for
be
6
enlightened
months
and,
or a year to figure it out.
The core runs are essential, like the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day core run, because that develops a good habit. But it's not like I got to do the 90-day, 120-day, 365-day core run and then climb Mount Everest, find myself. Sorry. Find Mount Everest, go up to Mount Everest, find Sasquatch, you know, and then, you know.
You know that you're being extra.
Oh no, it's just because it was a situation that was funny. No, last time I was in the office, we talked about Sasquatch, and that's why.
Okay.
Anyway.
Point is,
you're not sitting down there trying to figure life out and then build a business. You can also build a business as you're.
You remember?
I'm gonna write some of this stuff down if you don't mind.
Yeah,
you
that's
go,
fine.
go for it.
No, I just have one thing. So keep talking when you go up there.
Keep talking. I think you.
I think I said this before.
We did. Keep going.
Part of building yourself up is building the business. Like, you know what got me to become more outgoing was flopping when I was dropping the message. You know.
All right. What is dropping a message?
Connecting with people that you've never met. What got me to feel more confident in my own skill sets was actually doing it. And I think Bill always says this. In every talk, I was going on a Bill Britt binge the other month. And I noticed that in every talk, he talks about doing the work is like 90% of the learning, right? Because you can like read, you can listen to the audios, you can study your upline, you can study the leaders. But if you're not doing it yourself, you'll never figure out that you can actually do it. So I still remember standing up at a product party, doing the presentations, doing the demos, and I'm literally, every body part is sweating, I am shaking, and having to sit down with a customer and, you know, close the sale and do the question, how are you going to pay for it, and have to be quiet. All of that was what built me. So I think you can build yourself while building the business.
Glad you spoke about that. So I remember I was in Eagle. So check this out, everyone that's back at home. I love sharing this story. It's like one of my favorite stories to share. Don't know what to look at. I'm gonna look at you. Whatever. Okay. I was a Eagle. I had about 10 people, 11 people or something like that in our organization. We were doing this whole meeting in the Bronx. My upline Samina sent us a message about that Kumar's doing a night owl in Central Jersey. For those of you who are from around the world or whatever, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive from the Bronx, you know, with rush hour traffic and everything, to go to Central Jersey. However, quick tip: when upline calls, you answer. That's it. So again, everything's optional. That was mandatory for me though. Boom, no problem. You need me there. It is what it is. I'm gonna be there. I was in the middle of the whole meeting. I told everybody, love you all. Hint, I didn't tell my upline, hey, I'm at a meeting. I just say, hey, listen, upline's calling. I love y'all. Gotta go. And I let that IBO show the plan. He was the first time that he showed the plan. I don't know exactly what happened, but I dipped. Go all the way to Central Jersey. Indian food is spectacularly amazing. You know, at that point, I was just getting my taste buds acclimated to it. So I wasn't there for the Indian food. Showed up to this Indian restaurant. It was like, what is it, like $30, $40 or whatever, just to kind of like offset the cost for the what is it, the buffet thingamajig. What do they call the thing? Where you go and you serve yourself?
Buffet.
Yeah, buffet, whatever. Okay, yeah, you get me. So we get there. I didn't eat. I paid my $40. I sat down on the floor. Kumar is there. We're in this restaurant, and I have only 10 people on my team. But I knew I needed to be there, and he drew this out, okay? And that changed my life. And I'm not going to do the whole training here. You can look up this talk. Bill Britt talks about this on BWW TV. Kumar talks about this several times, but it's about this a guy named Vern, okay? Okay, it's a simple character that represents all of humanity. And to summarize everything is all human beings have, well, not all human beings, but what makes us similar is 2 eyes. Now he looks mean and angry, but you have, how do I make this better? But okay, you have a mouth, smiling. He looks like he's up to no good at this point, but whatever. Ears. Some folks have hair. Some hair is better than others. You have a hand. You might have some nice sneakers or some shoes or whatever might be the case. What unites us all is our heart, but also more importantly is our brain. And what Kumar talks about is this idea named like self-image. Whatever you put into your brain could either be positive or could be negative. Now, this is the crazy overall success of this. Unfortunately, a lot of us, including myself and Stephanie, when we got into business, we had more negative than we did have positive. So when you have more negative than positive, the difference between the two is called a negative self-image. When you have a negative self-image, what programs Vern, we call him Vern, okay? What makes Vern is all the experiences of what Vern, let's say he's a 29-year-old, a 19-year-old, or whatever. What makes Vern is all the experiences that have been in the past 29 years of his life. This is essential and this is important, okay? Please. What happens here is that majority of the time we can understand that Vern has probably dealt with more negative than positive. That's just the facts. I don't know why that's the facts of life, but that's just how it is. When you walk around outside, it's very rare, especially if you're like New York or New Jersey. You go to the train, okay, it's not like a lot of the times people are going to look at you and go, hey, you're a winner. Like, hey, just want to come up to you.
Unless you walk into a BWW meeting.
Unless it was a BWW train with a bunch of IBOs.
Yeah, but apart from that's not happening.
If you just so happen to walk into a train with a whole bunch of IBOs, then you might get that. But more chance than not, you walk into a train and they'll go, yeah, they make some form of noise or some form of bodily noise or get the heck out of my way, or they fart near you or something like that. It's just something negative that usually happens. That's just how life is. And unfortunately, okay, we get into the business at this point, and to summarize everything, again, it's a great talk. Please do your due diligence, do your homework, read up on, look it up on BSM Extreme, specifically your Pro Unlimited. If you're on BWW TV, you'll be able to really take a deep dive into this concept here. But this shifted my brain on another level. This is why I travel 2 hours all the way from the Bronx to Central Jersey. Was to this. So what he said here, and it was, hey, this was me. I was raised in a hood. As a man of color from Jersey City, New Jersey, exposed to certain things prematurely. My dad left when I was 6, 7 years old. My dad threw my mom down a flight of stairs, domestic violence, police called, dad, all this other different things. Stephanie's background, with all the stuff that she had to go through. This was us. So I realized, heck, you can't get rid of the negative. No matter how much you get rid of the negative, you remember the negative. There's this another talk, Dancing, I'm throwing too many talks out there for you. I apologize, but it is what it is. Dancing Monkeys, Dark Circles. What did Kumar say in the talk? He said, if someone gave you, and this is not a
medicine.
A medicine, let's say gave a medicine, the doctor gave you medicine, you're going through some sickness or whatever, take this medicine, and you take this medicine, make sure that
you don't think
about a dancing monkey.
Yeah.
Now think about that for 1 second. Don't think of a dancing monkey. It works. This medicine works. You will be healed, headache goes away and everything. But just don't think of a dancing monkey. I mean, come on. It's better not even to throw the dancing monkey in the head in the first place. So the issue here is you can never forget about anything. The issue with forgetting is you have to remember the thing that you have to forget, but the more you try to forget it, you have to remember it more, so you never really forget it ever. So you can't get rid of it. So what you can do is you can program, and instead of becoming like a bodybuilder, I have some folks on the team and part of the Brit team that are just great health-wise, but instead of just becoming a bodybuilder, you become a mind builder. As a bodybuilder, you're careful about what you put into your brain. As a bodybuilder, you're careful about what you put into your body. The vitamins you take, the calories you intake, the macronutrients, micronutrients. Listen, so you're not putting crap into the mouth. Bad mouth, okay. But you're not putting stuff into the mouth. You're careful of that. But you put positive. Same thing with your brain. You're not going to put bad stuff into your brain. You're careful about who you follow on Instagram. You're careful about what you watch on YouTube. The news and the media that you put into your brain. You're just very careful with this very, very precious 3.5 pound thing in your head. You stop the negative and you put more of the positive. And this is what Kumar said at that point that freed my brain. I'm like, dude, I know I can do this and I can help anyone, everyone. And why I feel like this is probably the primary reasons why I have what I have is because I taught this same philosophy to our team, is that you can't ever get rid of all the negative stuff that happened in our lives and all the negative programming, but we can free our minds based off of diluting all the negative. If I had, let's say this big whiteboard was one big jug, okay, and I put some hot coffee in the jug, hot coffee, scorching, and I drink the jug, guess what I'm gonna be drinking is?
Hot coffee.
Hot coffee. Okay? However, if I put 1 or 2 or 3 ice cubes in this jug, what am I drinking now?
Hot coffee.
It's still 1 or 2, 3 ice cubes, not gonna do nothing. It's still a little, it's like a weird, awkward hot coffee. That's like a lot of new IBOs. A lot of new IBOs are a little awkward, weird. They're like positive but negative. They're like fired up, you know.
At the meetings, they're positive. They go back home and
They're awkward. A lot of new IBOs are awkward. It's fine. I get it.
they have a few talks in them.
Yeah, they have something in them, but they're just still really weird. Don't worry. But the more you put another ice cube and another ice cube and another ice cube and another ice cube, what happens?
You start to water down the coffee.
You start watering down the coffee, and then sooner or later, this big jug came from a little small hot cup of coffee, but now sooner or later, what are you drinking?
If it's filled with ice, water.
Ice water. Does that mean that the coffee is ever out of the jug? Can't be. It's impossible. However, it's negligible. And I'm going, dude, that we can free our minds and we can free just off of that one philosophy of making sure that we reprogram our brain, which is what Stephanie was talking about here.
You know, you and I will never, ever not be what happened to us. We're never going to be, we can never change what being from single parent household, from being from dysfunctional. We can never change that. However, we've become better versions than we ever thought we could be. And I think a lot of people, when they get in this business, they're so afraid. I don't want to change who I am. But maybe you're meant to be something better. Maybe if you can just use the formula, you can be better than what you ever even thought you could possibly be. We still have what happened to us. We're just a different version from where we started.
I don't think we can ever not be us.
Exactly.
I think we're always we're still gonna be us, but the best versions of us.
Version.
So boom. All right, when we came down to, okay, I built my mindset, find myself, found Sasquatch, came back from Mount Everest. I'm joking. We're not doing that and then building a business.
Yeah, we're doing it
However,
together.
what are we actively doing? What are you actively doing? And I think I'm also going to preface this by saying, whatever I'm doing it with a purpose of becoming successful. I'm not trying this. I'm not going to see how it goes. I'm not going to, let me put 1 foot in, 1 foot out. No. I'm going to make this happen, and if it's not working for me, I'm going to figure out how to make it work for me because it works. It's working for all these other different people. I just have to figure out how it can work for me. Not that I can't be successful in this, but I know it can work for me. Now, what am I actually doing for it to make it work for me?
3 things we do in this business. We talk about this all the time. We create volume. That's the first thing we all have to master, is how to get points flowing through your LOS or through your business. Second thing is we educate ourselves. Third thing is we sponsor other people.
Okay, you said
Those
it
are the
fast.
3
One more time. One is we
create volume.
Create volume for Amway.
Yeah, for our Amway businesses.
Okay.
We educate ourselves. We
Educate
sponsor
ourselves
other people.
with Worldwide, and we
sponsor other people.
Sponsor the people. That means develop
Those are the 3 skill sets.
Develop an organization. Okay, perfect. So let's take a maybe about 10 minutes or so. We can take a little bit of a break.
Okay.
Because I didn't realize we've been going for a little while.
I think what was it that you used to say?
And you're prego, so you kind of need
the mind can only take what the bottom part can endure.
Bottom part. Ooh, look at you being very censored. That's cute. She said bottom part. Okay.
What your seat can endure.
Your butt. I think we can say butt.
Okay, Nick. That's I knew you were gonna do.
Then your bottom part. You can't say butt.
You remember when the first board? Anyways, that's a different story.
No. Too late now.
Your first board plan in New Jersey that we
wait,
got invited to speak.
No. We're not gonna say that.
Okay.
Later.
That's a story for another time.
Another time. Make sure they invite us back. Okay. So, but anyway, we're gonna take a break in about 10 minutes. Let's say 9 minutes from now.
Yeah.
10:10. We'll take a break. Quick 5-minute. Boom.
Generate volume.
Generate
start
volume.
There?
Start there. Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying this. I think the first thing I would have done, like in terms of action steps in this business, is I will always start with the products. Why? For me, I felt like that was instant credibility. My friends' family didn't believe that I was a business owner, but they believed that Amway made good products. There was no debate. Like they tried the perfect water, it worked. You know what I'm saying? They tried on the skincare.
And they loved it.
But I think one of the mistakes we made was that in the beginning, we didn't study the categories that can actually help us really build a big business.
What you mean by that?
Well, back in the day, and the new IBOs we're going through a transition. But I remember you finished your 150 points, which was our team standard at that point, through partner stores, pretty much. So you
Pop-Tarts
and things that you found like in partner stores. Which again, there's nothing wrong with using the partner stores. But if you're just approaching products from like a consumer, like, well, I like Pop-Tarts or I like the partner stores, versus a business owner mindset, you're going to end up putting a lot more effort to create volume versus if you just focused on being a business owner, which is how can I not just use the products because they taste good, but how can I sell these products? How can I market it?
I remember Upline did product events and grand openings, things like that. We still do it to this day.
Yeah.
Some are live, in person. Some are on webinar.
Virtual. Yeah.
I think we would do that to create as big of a clientele as we possibly could.
And I think I would have done it a lot sooner. A lot of people wait.
Way too long.
Oh, I got to get my customer right. I feel like if I would have done that off the gate, I would have introduced my family to the products. Most of my clients have come from referrals, so they were not people that I approached, but people that my mom sent to me. So I just wish I would have gotten her into a product party a lot sooner and gotten that client list a lot faster. I would have really focused on making sure that all my sales were reported and verified. Let me tell you why. A lot of people
VCS,
think there's a lot of incentive now with like PV uplift and like customer incentive program. There's a lot of that, but also having a track record of what your people are buying really helps you. Because everything I used to do was like on paper.
Yeah.
Because people would buy from my inventory or they would just pick stuff up. I would have definitely utilized that more and really focused on promoting my personal website. Because again, doing the whole I buy and then sell, it's a lot more work. And I wish I would have known then that this world was going to become very, what's it called? Like,
convenient.
They became very delivered to my door, please, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like because I didn't do that from the get, it took me a while to transition my customers. And now it's so much easier that it gets sent to them. And then lastly, with products, I would have focused on Ditto a lot sooner.
More. Yeah. That would have been a top priority standard for ourselves.
That would have been
we all, I think a majority of the time, beginning our business, we did our volume early, right? But, to be able to have that as a standard of my organization could have been a lot better, early in the business. So I would do that out the gate. People are launching business, I'd highly recommend.
Yeah, and getting your customers on it. We were at the brink.
Too,
and now we see that everything is subscription based. Everything from there's subscriptions for shoes, there's subscriptions monthly. All this stuff is like a very common thing. But I wish I'd had the entrepreneurial vision that Amway had, because I feel like Amway created the subscription program before it became a thing.
Amway was always very cutting edge.
They were always visionary. So I wish I had done that a lot sooner. Guiding myself on the Ditto as soon as possible, and then more importantly, transition my clients into Ditto. Because they all bought on a consistent basis, but it was me having to follow them and having to chase them. And that time that I was, following up with clients, trying to figure out what they ordered, I could have had all of that done, reported on my screen, and taken that time to create even more volume. The thing is, your team is always going to duplicate half of what you do good. So I would have maximized my circle to I think I did like the bare minimum all the time, like 150. I would have gotten to bigger circles with clients and just been more profitable at the beginning.
Yeah. Get the personal circle as high as you possibly could.
Exactly.
Get as profitable as you possibly could. I think the other, we already really hit hard with the whole education part. So I think that diagram, the back pretty much summarizes that part. The next step is really about sponsoring other people. I think we never really ever struggled with that, you and I. I never really worried too much about no's and
yeses. So we would do that again. We will open up our list.
Very quickly. I always say, so there's four, I think I teach that there's actually 4 basics in building a business. There's very, it's a similar philosophy to...
So how do you, 4 things to sponsor people?
Four basics, 4 steps to sponsoring people. So one is that all IBOs should generate as big of a list as I can. Well, as we could. So myself, yourself, I think that there's 4 major lists. Write this down. We're going to go through this relatively quickly. But there's 4 major lists. There's an A list, B list, C list, and a D list. An A list are friends and family. People who you're really tight with. That's not going to be the biggest list that you have, but these are people that you can really trust. B lists are people who you somewhat know as friends and relatives, classmates, people you know at church or your mosque or whatever might be the case. C-list are friends that you haven't met just as yet. I don't like to call them strangers because then that makes them strange. Just because you don't know them, it doesn't mean that they're strange. But point is that they're just people you haven't met yet. And then D are referrals. I think if I could start all over again, and we did a good job at it, but I look back at it, I probably would have dedicated a lot more time to actually being more organized and writing out actually everybody that we got launched in business. Everybody that we could potentially contact and share a story and drop the message in some form or some fashion. So don't know, why we didn't, but I feel like we could have done a better job. We had like 400, 500 people already, but if you really think about everyone that I knew from grammar school, middle school, high school, long lost friends, relatives, neighbors, if you take a look at Facebook, Instagram, it's very easy to find the network around, to reach out to people and create conversations and to add people to a list, so that the next step is we can invite them to come see the presentation. You could say that this is dropping the message, sharing story, or something like that. We could create a bridge to actually open up a conversation so that they can actually come, and the next step is actually take them through, show the presentation, which is technically we want to make sure that we show the presentation properly. Everybody has a specific process in doing it. Some folks, you might have a 4, 5, 6, 7-step process. Some folks have like a 1-step. It doesn't really matter. But point is that they should at least see the Amway Associates marketing plan. If you go on Worldwide, there's a new slideshow that's available there. They have to at least see the slides. Sometimes in some people, it's a case-by-case basis where you do want to properly educate people for what we do, and maybe you might even want to properly vet them to see if they're going to be a good fit to get started part of your organization, depending upon what you're looking for, the type of culture that you're creating. But point is, first you create a list, you pretty much invite them, you show the presentation, or you start the process, you take them through an education process, whatever might be the case, and then you get them started right, which is a specific type of a process to do in a way that we don't just want to launch people, but we want to make sure that they get started off on the right foot. And these are what we call the 4 basics of building a business. And I think even it's been timeless from before, it's timeless to this day. And like I mentioned, there might be a little bit of difference with how somebody makes a phone call or sending a text message, or maybe somebody might have an 8 or 9-step process with somebody, or even a launch process might be a little bit different depending upon the individual. However, this is pretty much the overall outline.
The goal is to do those last 2 steps the way your upline does it, right?
As much as we possibly
can. The 4
can,
basics is the same formula for all of us, but your upline has a specific how to build the list. They have a specific dropping the message. They have a specific process. They have a specific getting started, right? And your job is to duplicate that to the T. I think me and you did really good in the beginning when we got started in the business to duplicate what our upline was doing. I think what I would do different was I would do it more. I would build this business at least 5 nights
more.
a week.
Yeah, I would have showed the plan a lot more.
Exactly.
Yeah, with more numbers.
Been less afraid.
And I would have been faster to go through. Because again, I wasn't like negative that people might have said no to me. But I was just like, you're, and I would try to reason out with somebody like, why won't you get in? Do you not?
You spend a lot of time trying to tell people what.
Yeah, I should have just went on to the next. Yep. So in any which case, listen, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break or so. Woo. Let Stephanie do what she does. And I'm going to hang out with Kevin and Beth back here and some of the Brit guys. But we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Love you guys. And we'll see you shortly.
Yeah.
You take care. BRB.
I hope somebody is home. And somebody is in the front door. Can you grab it?
Hi, how can I help you?
Hi, I'm Charlie Durso. I represent BWW, and I'm here to share some really exciting news with you.
Great, come on in.
Well, this is exciting. Beginning October 1, for all brand new IBO subscribers to our Extreme and BMP app, for the basic plan is $74, and the core plan, which gives you additional stuff like Share Talks, that's $99. We are giving away the first month free as a trial basis. This is so exciting. I can't even control myself. And in addition to that, I got some great news coming soon. I want you all to know that we have a new IBO VCS bundle package, and it will be announced shortly, which means I'm gonna have to come back and visit you again. Are you excited?
Yes, you can come back anytime.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Yeah, baby. I think she's expecting me again.
Hey, it's you again.
Yes.
Come on in.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Charlie Durso. It's great to be back. As I promised, I would come back and share some updated information with you. And so I represent BWW. I just want to let you all know that beginning October 1st, in addition to our first-time subscriber special, where you get the basic plan or the core plan for Extreme and BMP, complimentary for your first month beginning October 1, and that is with BWW. The second thing, which I'd like to announce to you guys, coupled with that special, is very exciting. We have put together a recommended suggested bundle, a US product bundle and a Canadian product bundle. Both bundles are, the US is $300, the PV is $100, the Canadian bundle is $331 and 101 PV. However, this is a product bundle that we just put together, suggested for each and every one of you when you register a new independent business owner as of October 1 moving forward. These are Amway products, and it is an Amway product bundle that we just arbitrarily put together to assist you in the process of getting a new IBO registered and meeting one portion of the qualification of $300 worth of volume. And it gives you that opportunity to work with that new independent business owner to help them get verified customer sales out of that $300 worth of volume and 100 PV. And so check with your upline in reference to this product bundle. In addition to that, we'll be teaching this in great detail and explaining everything come our fall extravaganza, and that is November 12th, 13th, and 14th. And I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you there. It's going to be a blast.
What is up, everybody? It's good to see you. Thanks so much to Charlie on that video, as well as I'm excited for the future of what's coming. So we have a limited amount of time together. As they say, time flies when you're having fun with your friends, and all of you guys are friends and family, and I didn't even notice, just like that. And we are doing a hard stop at 11, a lot more than we want to discuss and cover, but it's okay. We all have Pro BSM Unlimited. We'll get as much information as we need from Pro BSM Unlimited, and we're going to have multiple different opportunities, like the fall extravaganza. Yes. We have BBSs that'll be coming around a lot more often, and a lot of more opportunities for us to fellowship and take deeper dives on everything. I know one of the things that we were just talking about was the 4 basics of building a business, in a sense of sponsoring people.
Yes, I kind of wanted you to jump right back into that. Because I think sponsoring people or getting somebody in is a very simple thing, in the sense that you have to master it, then you figure it out, and now you sponsor somebody. But there's a difference between sponsoring a group of people and actually having an organization. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have a team of people, or you can have a business team. And if you can kind of talk a little bit about that, how do you build a team?
So this is just based on my observation. Can't really do this crazy deep dive.
Okay, the best that you can.
And I'm not going to act like I'm a super master at building a business, because I have nothing in comparison to my upline, Kunkin and Tamina, Kumar and Angie, and everyone else. But this is what I've learned from them, and I'm expressing it to everybody as well. Another thing is that I am going to do a quick 10-minute, 15-minute, and I'm done in a sense of what we need to do here, because a little surprise for everybody. We wanted to have Kevin and Beth Bell join us in the conversation here, so we definitely want to give that ample amount of time as well. So here's a couple of things. The first thing here is, obviously we have you, let's just say you as an independent business owner. All right, you're probably going to be doing 150, 300,000 PV, whatever might be the case, and obviously you should be doing your VCS. You should be what we would call core. It's just a lingo and worldwide to talk about somebody who's honoring the partnership and doing all the habits of building a business. Speak to your upline about what those are if you're new. But nonetheless, what happens here is this will be you. You should be doing the 4 basics and sponsoring people to a certain extent. And you can sponsor people in with. That means that, let's say you know Billy, you took Billy through a process and you launched him in business. You can have Bob, you can have John, you can have Mary. Okay, this is called width. And to understand the marketing plan, width is profitability. Has a large personal circle, and width is profitability, but depth is a sense of security. That's when you take your skills of sponsoring an individual. Now that you learned how to sponsor on your own, you probably observed your upline, you probably got into the moment of you showing the presentation and got through your own rejections, and you're fine-tuning your skills. That's just a journey of becoming a good independent business owner, and learning anything is making lots of mistakes. Now you do it to the point where you're getting effective now in width. That's cool. Now you need to make sure that you help Billy, Bob, John, Mary start to sponsor people in depth. So now you tell Billy, hey, let me start taking people through the process for you. And you sponsor, let's just call this person Joe. And let's say Billy has 3 more legs. The key thing here, it's very critical to know that, yes, we want Billy to have multiple legs, but also to a certain extent, your goal, again, speak to your upline, your mentor, is to be able to try to develop something here called, okay, you're going to see something like this. It's not going to be exactly like this. Just don't mind, the numbers and how it might look. Okay, but point is that you're going to develop something here called a taproot. What a taproot is, again, it's just another business lingo. The deeper the taproot that you have in this organization, and your goal is to get everybody started off right as correctly as you possibly can. But the deeper of a taproot that you have in this organization, the more secure it is in a way. Without getting too much into it, just take that, write that down, and speak to your upline on how do you develop a taproot within your organization. If you have, there's this old school talk, I don't want to call it old school, but there's a talk by Kumar called 72 Homes. And it's like an ode, a poem, I don't know how you want to call it, but it's an idea that you have 6 legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're not going to sponsor 6 and those 6 are going to go platinum for you to go diamond.
You may sponsor like 10, you might sponsor 12.
You might sponsor 20, you might sponsor 30, who knows? It depends on the ambition level, it depends on the demography, it depends on the type of people that you're taking through the process and launching in your business. However, what he mentions in this talk, which is gold mine, is you have 6 legs And his philosophy is, okay, I have Billy, and I build a friendship with Billy. And you can't do this with just everybody, but you're just giving your heart away to people. You build a friendship with Billy, and you might enter into his home. Now, it's interesting because we live in an interesting time where, we want to have social distancing and respect people's, privacy in a way of what they're comfortable with. But just don't focus on the home part. Focus on the fact you're getting to their heart. Because when you go in someone's home, you're really connected to their heart. You don't just let anybody into your home. So 72 homes are 72 different. What Kumar mentions in this talk is there's 72 different people that you could connect to on a friendship level. Now, it's not necessarily. Ideally, what he's saying is there should be 6 legs in which you're going 12 deep in each of these legs, and chances are, if you build a business that's something similar to that, chances are you have a good organization that is going to get diamond done. Can we agree on that stuff? Can you say that that's also what we've done and what we're starting to see with people in our organization?
Exactly. Yeah, I think the powerful part of helping Billy have a team or a team that's at least 12 deep is that you give your people, you give your leaders something to lose. That's why there's stability in it, right? Billy's not going to walk
fire
away.
them up to gain something,
Exactly. And I think the only reason why you go and build taproots and you build depth is because in this business, what withstands the test of time is relationships. Everything that we do for Billy, that we do for Joe, that we do for Mary or even John, yes, we're trying to help them build their business, but we're also trying to build that relationship because we know that that's what's going to help us have a big business together.
And in each of these people, again, there's a logistics of also getting them started off correctly. You want to make sure that they're listening to talks, and you want to give them. Right now, if you go on BWW, as you just saw from the commercials or the break video, the videos that are just playing during the break. New IBOs get a free month from BWW either on the basic package or the core package.
Amazing.
Which is stupendous. Shout out to BWW, the MOC, the SOC for setting all that up. Okay, but it's just the idea that you want to expose them to the mindset as much as you can. You also want to get them started off correctly, maybe do some product events and get them profitable.
Yeah.
Fun fact from Amway is usually when an IBO sees $200 within their first 2 months, 3 months in business, chances of them renewing their ID number and actually being productive as an IBO 4-fold, 5-fold. And that's an interesting fun fact from Amway at Achievers a couple years ago.
You know a little bit more. There's a new product bundle for new people that the leaders have kind of put together.
The new VCS bundle.
Yeah,
the new IBO VCS bundle.
Yeah, so that's something that you can definitely utilize, and you're going to probably be hearing a lot of information from your upline about that, is to help IBOs get started right with VCS, with getting customers and getting the right products.
That's exactly what we do. Everybody who would launch in my team, highly recommend to get that VCS bundle, plug them into Worldwide, and then help them retail a little bit of product and start showing the plan for them relatively quickly. Very simple, but as if I can do a lot of that as passionate as I could, I would get to this type of business a lot faster. We can agree on that.
That's right. I agree.
With that, again, because I really want to spend some time with Kevin and Beth, that's actually my highlight right now. But something to look up. Make sure that you look this up on your own time. Two things you need to look up. The first thing is the 3 powers. Okay, it's power of spoken word, the power of unity, and the power of submission. Those are kind of like intangible things that create a culture within an organization, because these are not just circles and money and PV, and these are actually people. And everything rises and falls on leadership. And an organization needs a good leader, and a good leader creates a certain culture in their team. And when you have the 3 powers, where people are speaking properly, where people are unified, and they're in submission, not necessarily in a sense of you are my higher up and I'm your subordinate, but it's just that you understand a little bit more than I do, and I'm willing to lean in and listen to you. And I might not understand what you're saying now, but I will sooner or later when I get to that level. So I don't want to say obey, because it's just one of those things that lost in English language, but you're pretty much obeying in a way that I remember Charlie talking about this. If you understand what I'm saying and still do it, are you really in submission? But yes and no. But if you don't understand what I'm saying and you still do it, now you're actually in submission because you're obeying. That was a very, very powerful line when he said that. That was at a Go Diamond a couple years ago. Okay. But anyway, so 3 powers, and the second thing is the 6 cardinal rules. Type that in to BWW, the BWW TV, and also BSM Extreme, and learn about those two philosophies.
Yeah, we found out that if you don't utilize the 3 powers for your business, and if you neglect or break the 6 cardinal rules, you are asking for everything that you built to be destroyed almost. Like, you can have 72 homes, you can have all of that, but the one thing that can destroy the team like that is the consistency of breaking cardinal rules and not utilizing the 3 powers to your advantage. And one of the things I want to point out is that, yes, our goal is to get every IBO started right, and we do those 3 things that you talked about, but we also respect, and that's been one of our strengths, is we respect where people are at. So if somebody is not ready for any step that we're trying to teach them, we know how to help them stay at their level and then get them to the next one later on. So for example, if somebody's not ready to sponsor yet, but they want to retail, we're amazing at helping them do that until they're ready to sponsor. If somebody is not ready to be 100% on fire about everything in the business, we don't judge them, because we realize that a team has different players and they all play a different role. So,
question I want to ask you real quick, it has to deal with, have you ever grown weary in well-doing building a business? So, you were in a process of going platinum. Yeah, you're in the process of going emerald, going in the process of going diamond. Has there ever been a point where you felt a little tired, burnt out, upset, angry, something like that? And when in a case where you're doing the right thing, but you just don't feel like doing it.
My personality loves rest. You know that. Sleep is like my favorite thing in the whole world. Now that we have kids, I'm like, what happened? But yeah, growing weary and well-doing has a lot to do with not taking care of just, in this business is not this thing, is there's no balance. I feel like in general in life, balance is almost like an illusion, because you're constantly fixing things in life to try to get in balance, right? Like, if you actually try to drink the certain amount of water, work out, you're gonna go crazy. Like, we're about to hit a big pin. There are moments where it's very easy to just kind of burn out, or it's easy to stop doing the things because maybe we're trying to pick up momentum and it's just not happening as fast as we want it to.
Or even like you give yourself away to an IBO, you see yourself living a good life with that person. Maybe not like, traveling to beaches of the world type stuff, but like, dude, I can imagine this person going 1,000. I could imagine this person going 4,000, or even, I don't know, beyond. And for whatever reason, they let life, or they kind of got demotivated and they stopped. That's happened to you, and that's happened to me. What did you do to give yourself away to the next individual? How'd you continue to have the energy to keep moving forward when a person takes a piece of your heart? And sometimes it's a lot bigger of a piece than others, but point is, they take a piece of your heart.
Yeah, I go back to the beginning. I go back to the dream. I sit down, I think about why I started this business, why I'm in it, what I want to accomplish. I go back to a piece of paper and I draw out the group that I want to see. I remember, I think it was Paul Miller, he spoke at a platinum conference before FED before a major conference. We had that platinum session, and he was talking about in his journey to diamond, he used to draw out his group a lot. If he was hurt, if things weren't going the way that he wanted to, he would draw his group, and he would not just draw out a group, but would draw out life in his group. He would speak life into it. So I think going back to that, going back to the drawing board, going back to your dream, and then ultimately, again, it goes back to what we're talking about. I go back to gratitude. I start to thank everything that I have, thank the system, thank the Amway, and I start to focus on the people that are there. Because if you keep focusing on the people who left and hurt you, they're going to be people literally
they're not the ones that count anyway, right?
They're not the ones
people
that count.
People left are not the ones that count. You never did it for them anyway.
You're going to miss out on some of your biggest leaders, thinking about people who they were just meant to be in your life for a season, not for the whole time.
Yeah, for me, it was it's two-part answer to that. Is the first one is that I think about the people that have come before me, and I think of Bill Britt. Think about the heartache he must have gone through building his business. If I had to deal with the heartache with my little itty bitty diamond ship, what about his Founders Crown ambassadorship that spans the world? Or people in my upline, Kunkan and Samina, Kumar and Anjali. Think about the heartaches they must have gone through to get to somebody like me. There's a talk by Troy Durso. I don't know if it's in the system anymore, or may not be available in the catalogs right now. But it talked about actually no, this one might be in BWW TV. Passion, Purpose, and Perseverance. He's wearing a white tuxedo, and it was at a Nardoni Winter Conference, I believe it was. And Charlie D'Urso is going. It doesn't matter what you had to go through. It doesn't matter. He kept saying, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is. And he goes and he keeps on talking about all the struggles. And you're going to have to go through people to find the winners the same way that your upline had to go through people to find you. And to hear that type of story and a timeline gives me energy, and it fills up my love tank. It fills me up to the point that knowing that my upline had to go through people to find me, and I have the energy to find another, Nick and Steph. And we have people like Andre and Crystal, founders Emeralds, Esmond and Kusuma, Emerald IBOs, the Rubies that we have a part of our organization. And I can't wait till they get Diamond done. So,
I think just to add to that is we've always had it. Every time something bad happened, we always had a DVD of what life was going to look like. It was like a 2-minute DVD. We'll close our eyes and we'll visualize ourselves with diamonds. We will visualize.
You'll tear up.
Yeah, helping people. Like I remember listening to Robbie and Shushma Muhammad's diamond recognition, and just thinking of the impact that the calendars had on them. I would visualize being able to help them, and honestly, I would visualize moments like this. I mean, the fact that we're gonna hang out with Kevin and Beth.
Yep.
That they know who we are. I recall listening to their talks as a new person and thinking they're like the smartest people and the wisest. Because smart is one thing, but wise. And now they know who we are.
Yep.
And it's like, it's the coolest thing ever.
I got a couple of text messages from folks real quick about getting access to the VCS bundle and a list of that. But you should be able to get that from your upline. BWW will be sending it to you as well via BMP, and it'll be available on BWW.com. And I know that very, very soon, in the near future, we're actually updating the BMP app.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of an instant message as opposed to email thread, and you'll be able to have a better communication with Worldwide as well as your upline. But yeah, for those of you who are looking for the VCS bundle, please just be patient, and your upline will get it over to you. So what I would love now,
let's do it.
Is actually let's bring up heroes and living legends of ours.
And this is extra special for those of you who don't know. Our first BBS ever
yes.
was for the Bell team.
Was for Kevin and Bell's team. And now the first, virtual BBS is here with Kevin and Beth Bell here as well. So, thank you for the invite, and thank you for setting everything up. Thank you for everything that you've done for BWW and the world, really. And thank you for joining us here.
Yeah.
So this has absolutely rocked. I know you guys are all fired up back at home, and just so many incredible things. How many of you liked all the diamonds flashing by? I'm so proud of you guys that you didn't let that distract you, because I like, man,
we kept looking at it.
It was wild during some of the timings. Like you mentioned somebody and they would come up, or when Rocky came up, you were talking about faith, and that was one of his favorite topics. So that was cool. I want to share a couple things with you, because I got a couple messages here. I got one from a mock member, Paul and Leslie Miller, and they said the mock is all abuzz with the BBS. Thank you guys for just doing this awesome, incredible, and stepping out of the box in a new thing. And my message back was thank you to the mock for giving us the opportunity to kind of change things up. And guys, if you're listening, we want your feedback on this, because we always want to get better. And but
and we said in even the Achievers, you get better together.
That's right.
We're better together. So for as long as if you have input, if you ever need anything, reach out to somebody upline, give some input, and yeah.
Yep, you guys have crushed it. And Nick, that was a great lead into my question. Actually, it's probably a little bit for you and Kevin, and then I
have to ask you guys questions.
Okay,
honestly.
well, we can do that too. So
I was hoping it was the other way around, but okay.
They said you're in the hot seat.
We'll go with this for now. So one of the things you guys talked about was cancel culture, and I think at the foundation of cancel culture, a lot of times people it's a lack of confidence, right? Is that they're not comfortable with healthy debate.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think is so awesome, the thing that I was really attracted to in BWW was first time I got to hear Bell from stage is he was not uncomfortable with the uncomfortable truths, right? Mm-hmm. And that's been our legacy. And for all of us that are part of this part of this team, is that we're very, very comfortable with it. And so one of the things that Bill did is, before he passed away, he created the MOC, and you've referenced it all night, the Management Operating Committee, and that was now made of 5 members that that have really kind of took the torch and have kind of passed it on to the SOC, which is the Strategic Operating Committee, which you and Kevin are a part of, and I know feel blessed to be a part of.
Super.
Well, one of the things that, is just in our conversations about just all the things you guys are doing is just, it feels so good to be a part of a group of people that really are comfortable with healthy debate. And really at the foundation that is opposing opinions, but you come out of it unified. And unified doesn't mean you agree, but it means you come to a consensus.
Yeah.
And then
to be functional.
To be functional. And I think that, especially for new people tonight, I just remember going to our first function thinking, we were very, very attracted to our coaches and mentors. They were very much like your guys' personalities, and they were just fun to be around, quite frankly. We were older than them, but we were attracted to them as people. And but going into our first Brit function, diversity was so apparent, and that was just very, very attractive to us. So I just thought maybe if you guys could just give, just now is the succession plan, really, just knowing that Bill has set up such a great foundation for us, that BWW will go on forever. It gives us a lot of comfort and peace. We've been in business 30 years. You guys have been in business 10 years. I mean, that's decades. And there's people, Angelo and Paul and Leslie. I mean, they've been in business many, many more years. So I just think generationally, you can just speak to that a little bit so that these guys really know what we're a part of.
Yeah. I would like to hear from Kevin.
All right,
first.
so mine's going to be short. The reason why it's a healthy debate is because we express our opinion with respect. And we're willing to.
That's important.
And we're willing
That's
to listen
huge.
to the other side. I feel like there's so much disrespect in the world today, and so people take a differing opinion personally because of the way it's delivered. And so I feel like you guys did an amazing job of delivering what you believe, and I love the way how you talked about it was your opinion and you built your business your way. And if somebody quits because of that, that's kind of ridiculous because they don't agree with everybody at their job either. And so just thank you for doing an amazing job, being respectful of everybody, but still sharing what you believe.
Yeah, but I think I don't know to piggyback off of what Beth was talking about. Also to answer what you were mentioning about Kevin is that. Some folks, I guess, because of a lack of confidence, they just get easily offended way too much, and they're not very well-founded on their own belief system is still a little bit shaky.
Yep.
So because someone there is like questioning or just poking at it, challenging a tad bit, it pretty much falls apart. And now they just don't even want to hear it. They just won't even sit on the table anymore because they can't handle it. So I think that's effectively why there's this weird, interesting cancel culture. That I don't know if you can be successful building a large Amway business with that type of culture. Right. If you're not, one, willing to hear somebody else's opinions, because how can you even have a downline who might have an opposing opinion than you? How can you work with a bigger organization if someone might have an opposing, and everyone can't think the way that you think, everyone can't believe the way that you believe, not everyone's going to worship the way that you worship, not everyone, it's just impossible. So if you take a look at Bill, and if you take a look at the diversity that BWW has together as an organization, it's a functional team of people that are willing to come together. It's like a beautiful fabric. Everyone has their own stitch, everyone has their own piece of it, but this beautiful fabric all comes together, which is really what America is supposed to be all about, right?
That's right.
The melting pot of culture. But again, if you just say, no, that side doesn't count, that's not going to be functioning in this world, forget it, not interested, then you're just going to have an itty-bitty small business. And, it's interesting, you won't even just have an itty-bitty small business, you have an itty-bitty perception of reality. You have an itty-bitty blessings from life because you just don't get all the blessings and experience from everyone else.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So I'm going to go ahead and segue into my final question to you guys. And, you guys started your business when you were 19. We were 27. Kevin had just come back from the first Gulf War. I'd been practicing medicine for about a year.
Which I respect. Anyone in the military, I don't even know.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean.
My pleasure.
But after hearing your story, you came into business with a little bit of a different framework. than we did, which I thought was just a great testimony to what I said earlier, is that we're a product of what this association has done. The BRIT system is us. It's people. It's people that come in and choose to do great things in business with people, right? That is really our product, is really attracting other people to us. And Amway is an amazing business model, but people will really start to evaluate, can I join you? Right? Not just can I be successful? You guys talked about this. Can I make this work for me? We've always made the Amway business work for us because of what we see the value in people, right? Because that is really what we're mostly looking for and excited about, is to create an association of people through this opportunity. So with that, one of the things that I was just thinking as I was listening to you guys, and I had a quick conversation with Stephanie about this, is our kids are now 21 and 24, and going from 18 to 22, those college years, there's just a lot of transition, right? Yeah. You guys have toddlers. You're experiencing the first phase of independence. It's toddlerhood. Well, the second phase is, teenagehood and into those early years. And sometimes it's, because we're in a business that we have growth mindset, sometimes people don't need to just grow, they need to grow up. Because they're old enough, right? They're old enough, I remember reading this book from our parenting coach that said, hey, at 2, your kids can do this. At 3, they can do this. And sometimes as parents, we just keep doing it for them because we can. Yeah. But then we stop and think, well, they can too. And so for you guys, individually, what were maybe those things as you were building your business very early on, as we're attracting the younger generation to us, and we're trying to help and coach and mentor them through coping mechanisms, that type of thing. I think if maybe you just share one that you realized through this association and being, owning a business and truly understanding that I had to make it happen, there's just some things you have to grow up. And so maybe if you could just share one of those things for you guys, I think it might just speak to somebody.
Growing up, I have so many stories because I was a boy when I got in. I still think that I have a long way to go in being a man overall, but I have a lot. I mean, when it came down performing business-wise, the first one was, I think my upline made me show the plan for the first time. I don't know how empowering, how to express how empowering that was and how necessary it was. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. But I think it was incredibly one of those experiences as a man that I was shaking, I was scared. And after I did it, I don't know, I just felt like, oh, that was great. I could do this. So that was one. But when it came overall to growing up to becoming a man, I think it had to do with the fact that I had to stop doing boyish things, which it's its own chapter in its own right, talking about all the things that grown men do, but they're actually, they're capable of having children, but they're still boys themselves. I think, how I treated Stephanie, how I treated my family. When I just went to my upline's house and I saw how, I don't want to, it sounds a little bit whatever, but how a man really treats their family correctly, I never really saw that in the world. Yeah. I didn't have a role model. My dad left when I was 6 years old, 7 years old, and I only saw athletes, and I saw rappers, and I saw what mainstream media wanted me to see, right? So but when I came and I saw, how Kevin even treats his family, how my upline, Kunkin treated his family, Kumar treated his family. I felt like these are the men that I could follow, and I just started emulating little things by little things, like just opening the car for Steph, opening the door, holding the door open, things like that,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, because those are not easy things to share, But to me, again, that is just the power of association. I had a very different upbringing. I was not part of a wealthy family, but we were well off. Yeah. But what this association really made me understood was wealth. And wealth is not just money. It's a wealth of relationships. It's a wealth of knowledge. It's a wealth of time. It's all those things. So how about for you, Stephanie?
Again, there was a lot, because one of the biggest things that we were good at, well, at least I got good at, was being aware that I was young. Because I feel like a lot of people blame. They think that there's something off. Like, why am I so emotional? Well, you're 19. You have a lot of hormones, right? Like when me and him got married at 21, there were things that I would just be so livid about. And I'm like, I took a step back because I was reading, and I'm like, well, maybe it's just my age. Like maybe I just have to mature a little bit. So there's a lot. But I think the biggest thing was just taking ownership of everything in my life. You know, from the bills are my bills. You know, I had a different story because I had to take care of my family, so I didn't really struggle. But I see my team, sometimes they have to realize that your parents have a lot to say because you're not paying the bills. You're not doing your part financially to handle yourself, taking ownership of my emotions, right? I used to think that it was everybody's responsibility for me to feel good about myself, right?
That's big.
And I realized, no, I'm in charge. Like going back to the cancel culture,
right?
Why are you offended? Who told you should be offended?
Right.
You know, you're telling yourself you should be offended. No, I'm in charge of what offends me and what doesn't. Even like with my self-image issues, I realized it was my job to get out of it. It was not Nick's job or my upline or anybody else. I had to figure out why I felt the way I felt. And it turns out a lot of my insecurities were actually really selfish. They were also attention hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want the attention, but I kind of did. Yeah. So it's kind of just growing up and maturing in that. And when Nick mentioned being around people that had those principles helped me. I remember one time, it was an Emerald who went on stage and said, I just needed to hear Anjali Kumar tell me to grow up. And mind you, if you listen to Anjali, you would never picture that.
No, I can't picture that, Anjali. Now, Samina, absolutely.
When she said that,
she's my sister of another mister.
When she said that, Anjali said that, I'm like, she didn't, the message was not directed at me, but I'm like, Anjali Kumar just told me to grow up because I needed to hear that. And that was like the beginning to
that. So just hearing you, so understanding you should evaluate your emotions, but don't let them be in charge.
Exactly.
And then, the other thing is sometimes, I am one of those people that I love the truth. But, for some people, it's not that they can't handle the truth. It's maybe you're not delivering it in safety. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we're not allowing the truth to not come to someone because we're not delivering it in a way that they can handle it. But at the same time, you want to grow up to the place that it doesn't matter. You can handle it. So, well, great. So I go ahead.
Yeah, I got one. I want to jump in here.
Okay.
So, just listening
By the way,
to you guys.
Beth, somebody texted me in a group thing and said, Beth is gangsta. Just so you know.
This is what my daughter Becca would do. I don't know if that's real or not, but that's what she would do.
Just want you to know you have a rep now.
Okay.
Awesome. I forgot what I was going to say now. No. Listening to you guys, one of the things my mind always does is just listen for the strengths that people had coming into the business and the things they had to overcome. And you guys were 19, and yes, that's young, but because of the situation, being in a single parent situation, you had to grow up in a lot of ways faster than some other people did. So maturity wise, in some ways, as far as having a thicker skin, kind of knowing that if you don't take care of you, nobody will, you had grown up a little bit faster. And I hear some people, blaming other people, and number one, I never want to blame somebody else, but the other thing is, whenever I have a thought of blame, I realize I just gave them control over my life, because if it's their fault, I can't change anything. Mm-hmm. And if I realize it's mine, and what can I change to be better? So anything you want to speak as far as on blame, or just taking that responsibility, and what made you guys, just so open to being willing to take that responsibility, because it's such a big key in moving forward?
We often get asked this question because, especially nowadays, they're like, what are you teaching your son, growing up with his skin color and all these things? And I think one of the lessons that above everything, we teach Jason is that there are bad people in the world.
Well, when he grows up.
As he grows up. But whatever perception they have of you has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. You can't internalize other people's problems with you, and you can't just assume if somebody has a problem with you for whatever reason. And we've experienced all of that.
I've experienced it, yeah.
But we never let it become our problem. That was always their problem.
Is their problem, my problem, my problem.
That's great.
Something we want to always teach, we always want to teach our kid is that you can only control 4 things in your life. No matter how anyone else is around, you can only control your thoughts, your words, your attitude, and your actions. That's it. So everyone else, if you give, as you mentioned, the remote control of your emotions and everything to them, the only time that you'll ever move on in life is if they change. But if you understand you can control those 4 things, you can change the way that you need to change for you to move forward the way you need to move forward. And I guess we live, unfortunately, it's mainstream. I don't want to say it's mainstream now, but I feel like it was even the case when I went to college and high school, where it's very easy to blame your situation that you're in, your demographic that you're in, your circumstances, the government, your parents, this, that, the country, God. It's very easy to point fingers all around. But I remember Conti said that there's when you're pointing a finger, there's 3 more pointing right back at you. And in fact, I mean, obviously, that's more of a metaphor. But when you really take a look at it, the only reason why you're at where you're at is because of you. But that's an amazing thing, because you're at where you're at because it's you, and you're going to go where you need to go because of you. And when you take that individual responsibility and and you realize that the circumstances around you or whatever, I don't. When did we really realize that? Because I felt that way kind of in high school, college, but I was angry still.
Yeah, I think.
When did we not angry anymore?
When we got into business, I was tired of being upset about what I lacked. I'm like, it's time for me to like.
But when were we not angry?
In the business, I feel like.
Like what phase in the business do you feel?
Probably after our first function, we realized
like what am I?
why are we upset? And it helps you handle everything, like rejections from people quitting. You're like, it has nothing to do with me. That's like your what's going on with you. That's your journey, and you have to kind of figure that out. When people say bad stuff about us now, there are people who absolutely love us, but we also have trolls. We have people that, and we just don't let it get to us, because we realize that that's their issue, and they have to live with that. The only thing we can control is what we do moving forward and who we're impacting next. So
I have a question for you guys. You can wrap it up with this one. You guys have been in business for 30 years. You've seen it all. I think the way that life works, business works, same way. There's golden times, there's dark times, golden times, dark times. So I think right now, with what BWW is doing with the MOC, the SOC, the changes that have happened, the enhancements that have happened, the enhancements that are in the works that I'm really, really excited about for everyone to really experience. What do you guys see based off of everything in the past 30 years? What do you see as a future for BWW? Your organization and BWW.
You want to start?
Yeah, I think for me, BWW is just solid. And so to have been here for 30 years, I mean, just knowing that we can count on the leadership here, and yes, there are valleys and there are mountaintops, and things are going to ebb and flow, but for me, it's never been the mountaintop experiences, it's how they get through the valleys. Mm-hmm. If you can get through the valleys, then you're okay. And that's how we've just lived our life. We understand that the valleys are part of life, but they're a part of life, and business is a part of life. It's not life, it's a part of life. But just watching how they work through their problems. And I heard Angelo say something the other day. He said, Bill never wanted to be the biggest organization, he wanted to be the best. And my next thought was, but if you're the best, you'll be the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it depends on what BWW is to people in this business. And Kumar said it on our meeting yesterday. Yeah. If it's a building, then buildings get older and that kind of thing. But if it's an ideology, if it's about the truths that we're sharing and reaching people, then that's as strong as ever. And I know riding down the road, and you guys talked about just having a whole deep dive into Bill Britt Talks. I recommend that for everybody because it will absolutely change your life. But I think of Bill as much or more now than I did before. And he passed away in 2013, right after you guys went Emerald and everything. But I don't know whether it's the responsibility or just knowing that he set us up for success, and if we don't take it forward from here, then that's on us. That's right. And I feel like he cast the vision. He made sure, like every great leader does, that when he passed, that nothing would miss a beat. I remember people in my business asking me, "What's going to happen when Bill passes?" It's already in place. I mean, the mock is amazing. What they've done, and I think. Last thing is what we're seeing tonight a little bit of is that the truth is the truth. And if this business is about the truth and about changing lives, then it's always going to be great. If it's about the delivery mechanism, then sometimes other companies can maybe move faster because when you're a big ship, it takes a little bit longer to turn, but we'll always have the best. And so your business is not your delivery mechanism. It's your truth. It's your ideology and everything. So I think we're out of time. Did you guys have any last comments before
we completely agree. I think Kumar said it when Bill had passed away that I think the word is obituary.
Yes.
It can never be like just a paragraph because we're alive and we just keep everything that he did. We live that. And I think that's the definition for those young people who are obsessed with being forever young. You want to be forever young, create the kind of impact and legacy that Bill did and keep that legacy up, and that's how you get forever young.
Yeah, and I just want to say to everyone that we absolutely, really, really do love you guys. as BWW Diamonds, as SOC members, as MOC members, as a leadership. Our very purpose, our very passion, and our calling really is you as an IBO, you as an individual, no matter where you are, whatever background you're from, wherever you're located, your socioeconomic, it doesn't really matter. We live to create a good environment for you. We continue to grow our business to be great examples for you. We keep reading, we keep building up our leadership so that we can be great leaders to lead you the way that you need to lead, so that you can build the business that you need to build, to make the money you need to make, to live the life that you want to live, but more importantly, to live a life that is aligned with your own values and principles. And also, along with that, a really, really good bonus is the fact that you're also changing lives all around the world. So we love this business, we love you guys, and we really believe in each and every one of you. So I'm going to yield the floor to Kevin and
We
Beth.
have some closing announcements.
Yes, closing announcements.
Yes.
All
I
right.
do want to just
Love you
end
guys.
with one comment,
Yeah,
because Bill used to end every single function with "the best is yet to come."
Yes.
Amen.
And that's our legacy.
Amen.
The best is yet to come.
And for all of you at home on this was, you were there. This was the very first, BBS webinar podcast, and we were here, and we're excited about everything that's moving forward. And again, we look forward to hearing your comments. So the first ever fall extravaganza is coming up here in a few weeks, November 10th through the 12th.
got
It's
my
going to be
ticket.
absolutely amazing. If you haven't got your ticket yet, well, why not? Get your ticket, and it's on live.bww.com. So check that out. There will be an extra session on Saturday, so there'll be actually 3 sessions on Saturday, because we're doing this as a unified BWW team. So it'll be Gala, Britt, Nardoni, Miller, all of
all
us put
together.
together in one big
It is
big
gonna be
party.
awesome.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
Emeralds.
looking forward to that.
That's going to be gangsta.
The Emeralds are going to be
new word.
actually coming into town, and we're going to be doing a little separate session for them on Saturday
party.
night.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm so excited to just hang out with them. It's been a while since we've been able to do an Emerald Club because of COVID, so that's going to be extra special. It's just going to be really neat. One thing I want to end with, Lisa Madison, the BWW CEO, sent this text, and I just want to share it because it touched me, and I think it'll touch you, and I think it'll represent how everybody else feels tonight. It says, Bill Britt taught the team how to recognize winners, and it's no accident that the Milwaukees are the youngest and fastest growing members in BWW. This virtual BBS is epic. The Milwaukees are warriors destined for crown ambassador, Lisa Madison. So I think she summed up how the way we all feel tonight. And
Thank you, Lisa.
guys, send your comments in so Nick and Steph can read those as well. And God bless you all. Have a great night.
We're going to hold hands, sing God Bless America. No? All right. Love you guys. Take care. Boom!
you.